Morning everybody, welcome along to day 2 of the 2019 World Waterski Championships. We start this morning with slalom, of course. We've got a huge slalom field. We have today, this morning, we've got series 6, 5 and 4. So a little over 30 slalomers this morning looking to try and make their way into the men's slalom final at these World Championships. So in total, looking to get those 12 spots in the final, I think we have a total of 66 men's slalomers. So absolutely huge. This is the biggest event at the Worlds, of course. And of course, slalom watched by many around the world and commented, of course, on all the chat rooms. It's the event that everybody talks about around the world. And we're going to start, of course, series 6 this morning. It's a lot of international skiers here, huge representation from Asia in series 6. So we'll be underway any old minute, due to start in about a minute or so, but I don't know if we're going to start exactly on time. We've just got the boat doing a few phantom passes. Conditions this morning pretty good, really. There's really no wind at all. The lightest zephyr of an easterly breeze blowing across, but not really going to be any sort of an issue. It's very warm. I would say it's already over 30 degrees Celsius here. It's just 8 o'clock in the morning. No sign of the sun yet. Plenty of haze, and it's very humid, and conditions I guess that a lot of the skiers will be used to if they train in Florida. But geez, if you come out of a New Zealand winter like I have, it's certainly pretty warm. So I'm joined in commentary this morning by local lass Philippa Jung. So exciting stuff, Philippa. Looking forward to this.
Yeah, good morning. How is everybody? So we have a full set today, 11, 10, 10, who else? And then tricks, we have 8, 6, and 10. Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a big day. So after the slalom series 6, 5 and 4 for the men, we go into the women series 3 trick. And then of course we've got some jump, exciting men's jump, series 4 and series 3 jump. So those are the seedings, the lowest seedings of jump. We'll still see plenty of action. So a full day on the card here, I'm sure. So wherever you're joining us on the webcast, you've come to the right place. We're about to get underway here with men's slalom elimination round. First up from Korea will be Jimmy Jeong, of course, world-renowned jumper, but right now he's at this slaloming, or in a minute he's slaloming, because slaloming for his country of Korea to try and get as many points as possible. Then we go to Japan. We've got Yuichi Yamamoto. Indonesia's
Alexander
Dustin Wanker, of course. Is
so
that's
famous
Fart's?
Yeah.
Fart the Wanker's son. Yeah. I remember him skied against him. I don't know. I don't want to tell people. 30 years ago, probably at AO. So one of them. Then we got a Russia, another guy that you think of as a jump specialist, but he's out there slaloming for his country. I'm sure Igor Morozov. China's Jing Lang Yon, and then of course we've got Malaysia's Aiden Jung, Japan's Ryoto Funo. Then we go to Chile, Emil Ritter. He didn't actually start in tricks yesterday though, so I'm not sure about whether he's another guy that's top 10 in the world for jump, but probably out there slaloming today to get some team points for his country of Chile. Then we go Adam Jung from Malaysia. Then we go to Narawat Hapoldi from Thailand, and then of course the Ukraine, Damir Fluratov. So a few names there, a few tongue twisters there. I'm going to talk to the IWWF about some of those names, I think, Philippa, but you've got a master's degree in English or something, so you'll, or foreign languages, so you'll help us out with that. So it shouldn't be too long. Another beautiful day here.
It is. Very beautiful day.
Groundhog Day, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and we don't have the glare from yesterday, which is good, so we can see the video better. It's really kind of muggy today, actually. It's quite wet, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. So we haven't actually heard anything from the dock yet, so exactly what's happening. So we might have a slight delay here.
I think they're having some camera issues, which they'll resolve shortly, I'm sure.
Might be time to play a few ads or something.
Yeah,
well,
might be.
we could talk about the opening ceremony last night.
Oh yeah, that was brilliant,
that was
wasn't
sensational,
it? Really
yeah.
good food, had some minister, had a minister, and then we had the president of Putrajaya Corporation, which was really good. And the teams were amazing to march, right?
Yeah, it's
Marching is
awesome.
always
It's
fun.
great. It's great seeing them walking through. It gives that real kind of Olympic kind of feel. It's wonderful. Bit of national pride, of course.
Yeah.
You there cheering for Malaysia, I was cheering for New Zealand, of course. And no, it's great.
Yeah, and just to get everybody in the same space at once, you know, because people come and go, so we don't really see everyone
Yeah.
at the same time. So that was
Yeah.
really nice. Got some great photos, which you can check out on our social media.
Yeah, and the speeches weren't too bad. There were some good speeches. It was good, nice and short though.
Yeah,
good
I think
stuff,
everyone
entertaining.
appreciated that. Short and sharp.
Short and
then
sharp, and that's the way we want it.
Straight
It's
to
good.
the food and straight home to rest for another big day.
Okay, so the boat's going to start running its fan. So we are going to be almost 10 minutes late at the start here because I think they'll probably do at least 2 up and backs in the fan pass. And yeah, I think we'll run a commercial. Thanks, guys. And we'll be back with some action in 3 or 4 minutes.
Putrajaya, Malaysia this August to watch the world's best water skiers in action. Don't miss it.
Watch the best water skiers in the world compete at the 2019 World Waterski Championships in Putrajaya, Malaysia.
The 2019 World Championships. We've got a shot now of the start dock there, and a name in Asia, of course, that is super famous in the jump event, Jimmy Gion, but he's going to be our first slalomer, our first men's slalomer of these world champs. And slalom, probably not his favourite event, but because he's representing his country, trying to get team points for Korea. And it shouldn't be too long. The boat's just at the northern end of the lake. We'll head back down towards the start dock, and I think we'll be underway in this men's slalom elimination round.
Otherwise known as Jumpin' Jimmy.
Jumpin' Jimmy.
Yeah, really good guy. There you see Candido as well, Chief Judge.
Yeah, Chief Judge doing a wonderful job. I think our Chief Judge Candino is at his happiest when he's on the start dock. He spends a lot of time down there. He spent all of Famil down there, and big smiles down there from Jimmy. I don't know if he can hear us or whether he's just looking forward to a slalom. I'm not sure, but he's certainly excited to go here, and we're excited too. As I said, in excess of 60. I think I haven't actually added it up completely, but I think we're somewhere around 65 to 67 men's slalomers, all looking to get a spot in the final. The men's slalom final at the World Champs. It's probably the toughest event in world water skiing to get into a final at a World Champs. Yes, 66 competitors vying for those spots, and I'm not even going to guess at what the score is. Generally, the cut is somewhere deep down the 10.75 metre line. I'm not sure whether it'll be quite that high, but we'll have to wait and see. The course record, of course, here at Putrajaya, 2.5 on the 10.75. Now, believe it, it's held by Nick Parsons, so shout out to Nick Parsons if you can hear us. That was way back, though, 10 years ago, 2009, at the World Cup stop here. So that's the course record. I'm sure that will go. If not today, it will definitely go tomorrow when Series or C3, 2 and 1 compete. So it shouldn't be too long. We'll get a starting length and a speed. And Philippa, you looking forward to this? Should be exciting.
Yeah, really looking forward. And you know, my brothers are competing. Aiden is going number 6th, and Adam's going number 9th, and they have never started at 58, I think. So it's going to be interesting.
We saw a little bit of that yesterday, unfortunately, with the first 4 or 5 skiers, you know, from locals from Asia, that I think probably normally start at 49 or 52 kilometres per hour, but because being the open worlds, you've got a minimum start speed for women of 55 and 58 kilometres per hour for men. So especially some of the younger skiers, it can be a little bit tough, but we'll do what we can up here to get them through the pass.
Yeah. I think Chief Judge said they're going to do 8 passes. 8 passes up and down.
Okay, so we're still running yet. So we're doing 8 simulation passes. I think surely this is number 7, I think. I haven't actually been counting. Now the reason for this, folks, is to give exactly the same conditions for all our skiers. To get, sometimes we get some washback from across the other side of this reasonably large lake. So I suppose if you were to ski first and there hadn't been a boat running up and down, you would get better conditions than the guy skiing 10th. We can't have that at a Worlds. We've got to keep it the same for everyone, so this is why we're doing it. Petrol's so cheap here in Malaysia too. I've driven past a couple of gas stations coming from New Zealand, so why not just keep burning a little bit of fuel there. It gives us a chance to have a look at the back of that magnificent Nautic towboat, of course.
Oh, that's Putrajaya over there. You can see. Our National Day is coming up on the 31st of August,
Awesome.
Independence Day. So you'll see a lot of flags around Malaysia at the moment.
So that's Independence from England, is it? Or Independence from who? Yeah, that's great. I love my history, so it's good to catch up a little bit on this stuff. Still a Commonwealth country, just like New Zealand and Australia. Malaysia, I know that much because I see you at our Commonwealth Games. Well, Jimmy down his is probably the longest. He's been ready for a slalom set in his life.
Yeah.
I walked past the start dock this morning, well, probably almost an hour ago actually, and some of the workout regimes from the competitors down there, very impressed. Some of the, I think there was a skier there from Japan, and he was seriously fit looking dude with just doing the serious workout, so good on him. And it's good to see everybody here. It's a big moment, of course, for all of our skiers, but particularly, you know, these guys that don't ski on the Pro Tour, don't ski Moomba, don't ski US Masters, you know, all that sort of stuff. And this is the pinnacle for them, you know, like it's huge, absolutely huge. So, you know, these guys in this first series, it's a big moment for them to get to stand on a start dock at a World Championships. Here we go. We see Jimmy down there at the start dock. There's skis in the water. He's got his rope ready to go, and I think we're going to be underway here very shortly. Exciting stuff. 67 competitors in this men's elimination round of slalom. We're going to cut down to 12. That means a lot of skiers are going to miss out on the final, which is sad, but we can't have a run in our final. So this is going to be huge.
It's now 8:18 in the morning.
So 16 metre start. All the skiers in the men's will ski at 58 kilometres per hour, 36 miles an hour. but they can start at whatever line length they'd like, and Jimmy is going to start on the 16-metre line. Absolute rock star here, of course, in Asia and Asian water skiing. Jimmy Jian, Jumping Jimmy, and known for his the jump event. Here we go, folks, underway. This is men's slalom elimination now. Jimmy Jiang from Korea. Beautiful start on one ball. Breaks forward a little on two, but I don't think he's fine. Looking pretty good here, 16-metre line. Perfect, no problems at all, and that's good to see. In the ladies slalom yesterday morning, we had a few upsets early on with missed first passes and that sort of thing, and we are hoping we won't see that from the men.
It's a new rule, isn't it?
You can start, yes. Yeah. I heard 58.
58, 16-metre line gone down now. Jimmy Jian, South Korea. They'll shorten the rope down to the yellow, shortening the 14.25 from the northern end of this beautiful lake. Beautiful city, Putrajaya. I've had the privilege, Pippa. I've been to a lot of places around the world, but I've got to say this is probably the cleanest, most beautiful city I've ever been in. It's unbelievable. I've never seen so many big buildings. There's not too much traffic. It's just, man, there's screeds of people walking around picking up rubbish and trimming hedges and mowing lawns, and it's just great to see.
Yeah, I know. I keep telling all my friends, you got to come out to Putrajaya. It's just a different city out here. It's just amazing. Here we go. 14.
So here's Jimmy Jian now. Korean team captain, Korean team coach out there now, 14.25 metre line. Much stronger one ball turn than two ball side, and it, geez, because he was breaking forward a bit on that 246 side, and he's gone down there. He's waving out, he's letting people know.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's disappointing really. I think 14.25, 3.5 will be the score. You know, Jimmy's probably expectations were probably something 3 or 4 at 13. You know, I think that's probably a good score for him, but to miss 14, I think he would be a little bit disappointed with that.
Yeah, he was looking pretty good, right? Just had a little bit of a bobble and just skipped out, I think.
Yeah, I shouldn't start analysing slalom because I don't know too much about slalom, to be honest, but he had his 2-4 side, his offside is very weak compared to his onside, so he had trouble even on his opening pass with breaking forward and not really turning the ski on 246. But anyway, he's out here. In fact, he's having a really good look at the jump ramp right now. He fell off fairly close to the jump ramp. That might have been a tactic of his to get an extra look at the jump ramp out there.
He's smiling. Hi, Jimmy.
Always smiling.
Next gear up is Yuichi from Japan.
Yep, Yuichi Yamamoto from Japan now. Okay, here's the guy that I saw warming up this morning. He was bench pressing a couple of cars and that sort of thing. He's super fit. Geez, I tell you what, he might be super fit, but he's also getting pretty late here. He's going to have to work hard. Round 4, he's hanging in there. Not great style across the 5, but he's got there. Can he get the 6? He's coming into 6 with a lot of speed, and he's got the full 6 boys, but there was plenty of entertainment there, Pippa.
Well done for staying calm.
Yeah.
He needs to warm up, man. I think he's in his 40s.
Oh,
So
okay.
he needs
That's
a little
why
bit
he's warming
of
up.
yeah.
He's one of those.
Once you get to 40.
I got a sneaky suspicion that to me, looks like someone who probably normally starts at 55k. He probably does 55.16, then 58.16. Just looking at the way those boys seem to be coming up a little bit quicker than what he was expecting. But the nerves will be gone now. And because I think even though he's in his 40s and he knows he's, making the final is probably out of reach for him, he's there representing his country, and it's huge for team points. And he would have been really, really nervous on the dock possibly. And the nerves should have gone, I think, now. He's got that first pass under his belt. He'll relax a little bit and come back in on the 14.25.
Yeah, you're so right. The first pass is always really nerve-wracking, isn't it? Like, should be better now.
It's actually it's not a super long run in from the start dock in. Like it's fine, but it's kind of, I would say, kind of on the short side, which means that if you're not used to starting at 58, you're used to 55, everything would be coming up pretty quick, I'm sure, out there. But anyway, he's got that out of the way. Here we go. This is 14.25 for Yuichi Yamamoto of Japan. Round 1 he goes. Across the 2. Round 3, he's getting a little bit late here. He needs to hang in a big 4 ball, and I had a feeling that might happen actually. He was just quite late into 4 and he needed a big turn and he just couldn't quite do it. So we've got a tie at the moment, 3.5 on the 14.25 for our 2 competitors first up.
He starts quite far back on the gates, doesn't he, with his handle there?
Yeah.
Coming around 1.
Kind of late even out of 1. He's just running behind, isn't he, on the course. He's getting further down course and he gets to 3 here. He looks across at 4 and I kind of think he thinks, geez, if I'm going to run this pass, I'm going to have to get a really good 4 ball. And unfortunately, it's not his good side either. So he's, oh geez, he tried to have a, really tried to have a crank out of 4 there. It was never going to happen, but still solid stuff. 3.5 on the 14.25. Okay, so we got Indonesia now. Young guy, Dustin Wanker. Now I have not met Dustin Wanker, but I knew his father. I used to ski a little bit with his father back in the, well, let's not talk about how old we are, but 30 years ago. So
I used to ski with his father too.
Yeah, he's got a interesting name. It's Fart the Wanker, which if translated into New Zealand as New Zealand language is interesting, but I'm sure it doesn't mean anything. That's his father. But we're watching the son now, young Dustin Wanker. Okay, he's going 18 metre here, so a little slight change. It will be 58 kb, 18 metre. Young Dustin from Indonesia. Getting a little bit later. He needs a big 4 ball here to get back on time. Oh, geez, I think he's going to get there across.
Oh man.
Slips
such a
inside
shame.
5 balls. So 4 boys, I believe, is all that we will see from this young man from Indonesia.
Just running a little late. I think he arrived to the site quite late. He didn't get much practice, and you could see he was just really tentative.
Yeah, so young Dustin here. Another skier, I think he probably normally starts at 55k. I think this is probably a little quicker than what he'd normally start at. Not quite feeling super comfortable.
Oh, from memory, he has run into short line before, though.
Yeah, I'm sure he has. I'm sure he can run into short line, but I just get the impression that he normally likes to warm up with a 55k pass, probably. 58, 18 metre, or 36 mile an hour, 15 off is a very tough pass. It's a tough rope length at a speed to handle.
Just looking at the replay, he was super narrow on all those boys, right?
Yeah, he was. So young guy. It's great to see that, water skiing's a family sport, and it's great to see that that Fart, he's got the rest of the family into skiing. He's got kids skiing and that sort of thing, which is great.
Yeah, Indonesia's huge for that. They've got these skiing histories way back from the 70s, 80s.
Wow, yeah.
I competed against some of the parents in 97.
Okay, so that's Dustin Wanker there with 4 on the 18 metre at 58k. We've got a tie for the lead at the moment. Jimmy Jeong from Korea and Yuichi Yamamoto from Japan are both tied with 3.5 on the 14.25. We're 3 skiers into this huge men's slalom elimination field. We're going next, we believe, to Russia, and it is Igor Morozov. So, as I said, a lot like Jimmy Jeong, he is a jump specialist that does, to me, not look like Igor Morozov in the water, folks. So he's next on our running order, but I I've got a feeling that our Russian competitor, Igor Morozov, is a bit of an international man of mystery, Igor, and he'll definitely be here for the jump. But he does not look like he's made the slalom dock, so I think we're going to China. Because I do know what Igor looks like, and I'm pretty sure this is not Igor leaving the water at the moment. Okay, Chinese athlete, definitely. 58, 18 metre line. Jing Ling Yon. Through the entry gates he goes. I don't know that he's going to be out there too long, folks, by the look of that one ball. Just slips inside two. He's having a bit of fun out there, folks, but he's enjoying his world's moment. But unfortunately, just didn't get the start. You don't want to make light of the situation, but I've got a feeling that he probably doesn't start at 58 very often. This Chinese athlete. I think he's probably more comfortable at 46, 49 kilometres per hour possibly. But he's out there doing it for his country. So
Yeah, I wonder what happened to Russia. Maybe they're just arriving late, just going straight for the jump.
yeah, because it's interesting because Igor doesn't slalom a lot really. He's a professional jumper. But I did notice that he slalomed at the European Champs, I think it was in Madrid, Spain, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So, you know, he would have done that because he was there representing Russia and trying to get team points. But for whatever reason, he's decided. I don't think he would be because he was running late or missed a ski. I think it would have been a conscious decision a couple of days ago to save himself for the jump event. So it will be interesting. In 3 or 4 skiers, we've got Emil Ritter from Chile, who's also, you know, a jump specialist, really. That would just be interesting to see whether he turns up for a slalom, because he didn't turn up for his trick either. So I don't know what's going on. We haven't been told, of course. We're the announcers. We figure things out as we go along. But I do know one thing. Jing Lang Yon of China has scored 1 buoy on his opening pass. He's going to look. He's come all the way to the Worlds. He's going to get a bit of a free ski out here. Just see if he can get to 2. Which he can't, unfortunately. Gives the jump ramp a bit of a spray. Hopefully we see him in the jump event a little bit later on. The Chinese quite entertaining in the jump event.
Oh, next up is Team Malaysia. Aiden Young Hanifa.
So I'm a little nervous for my co-commentator here. Pepper, this is her younger brother.
Coach Marion on the dock there, giving him some last-minute tips.
Yeah, these young guys are really good trick skiers, and these young Youngs from Malaysia. But unfortunately, their favourite event, trick, didn't go that well yesterday, but they're going to slalom and they're jumping a little bit later on tonight. But I think you said a little bit earlier, Pippa, that they normally don't start at 58 kilometres per hour. So, and to be fair, they're you know, they're young guys and they're not naturally tall anyway, the Malaysians. So slalom is going to be a bit of a challenge here, I would think.
They're also jumping.
Yeah, well, I look forward to that. I don't know that I've seen the boys jump yet.
Oh, they're jumping today.
Yeah, they're
So
jumping
we'll see
this
them
evening,
twice today.
jumping this afternoon.
Yeah.
Young Aiden Young here. I'm not sure. I guess he's been practicing starting at 58. It is his home site, so he knows exactly how it's all going to feel out here.
He's got such a nice style when he wants
58,
to.
18 metre line. Aiden Young. Geez, good start on 1. He's looking okay now. A little down course on 2. He needs another big turn on 3. He's hanging in there, the little fella. Look at him go. Round 4. Oh, this is awesome. Can he get to 5? He can. I think he'll get to 6. He's going to scramble.
Oh my
Round
God.
6 and out the gates. Oh, sensational.
Oh, that is
Put your hands together.
amazing. Well done, Aiden. Holy crap.
You know, like if he went to Disneyland, they wouldn't let him on most of the rides
Yeah.
because he'd be too short. But he's out there and he's just run his opening pass. 58 on the 18 metre line. I think how old is he? 11, 12?
No, he's almost 14. I
Oh,
think.
sorry, he's the older one.
Yep,
Oh,
he's the
sorry,
older one. Yeah,
I got confused. Sorry,
the younger one's coming up.
the younger one's coming up. Righto.
Yeah, when he wants to, he can ski really well. Like he just stands so nicely on the slalom ski, I think.
They're tough competitors. Actually, I think I commented to you earlier, Pippa, that his older sister Leia did the skier's oath last night at the opening ceremony. A 16-year-old girl standing up in front of, you know, how many people, lots of people, and she spoke so well, so confident. You know, it's an amazing family, and the Jungs have done so much for Malaysian water skiing and for this World Championships. It's great to see one of the great water ski families. 16-metre line now and 58 kilometres per hour. Beautiful conditions at the moment. There's virtually no breeze at all. In fact, there is no breeze. Oh, is that 1.5?
Yep, I think
That's
so.
a little disappointing, I think, because 16 at 58 is not normally, in a lot of ways, it can be easier than that 58.18, and I thought he might have gone a little better than that, but he just didn't quite. I think he was trying to keep early, stay early on in the pass, and he probably pushed a little bit much on too.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It's like he just gave up.
Geez, he's got a decent lean out for the gates there.
I think he was too happy with his 58. So he looks really good on one on the slow replay.
Yeah.
Just cranks it on 2.
Yeah, he
Loses the handle.
kind of cut all the way to 2 as well, didn't he? So he did his turn after the buoy with a lot of speed, and it was difficult. So still leading at the moment, Jimichi and Yuichi Yamamoto leading this event with 3.5 on the 14.25 metre line. We're going back to Japan now, and it's Ryoto Funo from Japan. Yeah, 58k, 16 metre line. Round 1 he goes. Looking pretty comfortable at the moment as he heads to 4 ball across the 5. That's good skiing there. Probably the best opening pass, I would think, of the morning on the 16 metre line. 58k for Ryoto Funo of Japan.
Yeah, Ryota did pretty well just now. Nice to see him out there. They arrived late too. I think they got a couple of practice sets in, but not much.
Akadar, I think it was. The place was nice, lovely. They did a good job. Really good job, actually. I had the privilege of doing a little bit of commentary there. So 60-second wait at the northern end of the slalom course that we see, and back down, of course, 50 seconds wait at the start dock end, just to try and let the water settle. It'll be the same for every skier in this elimination round, and we're going to have half the skiers today and half the skiers tomorrow. Breaks for a little bit on 1, but nothing too terminal out there. Good 2 ball here. This is 14.25. The lead is on this buoy, folks. He's around the buoy and he's taken the lead in the men's slalom elimination round. Across the 6, and there we go. And Japanese athlete Ryoto Funo leads this event. He's the first skier to run the 14.25 metre line as he shortens now at the start dock end, and he'll be back in on the 13 metre.
It's always a nice feeling. You want to stay out there as long as you can, really, right? If I get 4 passes in a competition, I'm singing. It's nice.
If I get 4 passes, I'm puffing. Well, actually, and I haven't had 4 passes in quite some time, but great shot down there at the start dock. Watching a few of the athletes warm up.
There's Eat from Thailand. That's his short form, Natawut, otherwise known as Natawut. So he'll be really busy coming up for the Asians in Bangkok next month. And Adam Young on the dock there, getting ready. So I guess Emil Ritter is not coming.
It's looking that way. So that the jump specialists, the professional jumpers have decided not to slalom here in Putrajaya. Here we go, Ryoto Funo from Japan. This is 13 metre line, breaks forward on 1. He's fighting hard though, big 2 ball. Round 3, oh, he's gone. 2.5 on the 13 metre line. So, solid enough, but it takes the lead. 2.5 on the 13. I'm sure he probably wanted a little more though. All skiers always want a little more, don't they?
Yeah. I don't know, he might be pretty happy with that. See what... Not sure what his personal best is. That would be interesting to find out. Let's see.
Yeah, he certainly broke forward a fair bit there on the 13 metre, around 1 ball. Made up a bit of time on 2, but yeah. Right foot forward skier, I think, so that's 1 and 3 are his tough sides, and just didn't quite get it together out there, but that's solid enough. 2.5 on the 13, he's leading the event.
Just looking at his YouTube videos, he has done 12 meters at 55, well, that's 55k.
Classy calm here at the moment at Putrajaya for the 2019 World Waterski Championships. Men's slalom elimination is underway. We have had 6 or 7 skiers now. Our lead is with Japan at 2.5 on the 13 metre line.
Oh, really interesting. Ryota is back-to-back Japanese collegiate slalom trick and overall champion,
Yeah,
as
he's a
well
good
as
skier. Yep.
under 21 Japanese slalom record holder. Nice.
Yeah, I had a feeling I've seen scores from Ryoto around sort of 2 at 12 metre line at 58k, so you know 2.5 at 13 is absolutely fine. It's a solid score, but I think he probably wanted around 13 today. That would have been his aim. Well, the cute fact that's about to go through the roof here now, because we have the probably the youngest competitor at these World Championships, I'm going to go with.
I think so.
Young Adam Young. I've got his older sister in commentary with me. And yeah, tough ask for this young bloke, starting at 58k, but I'm sure he's been training hard for it. No, 18 metre line at the start. The course comes through from the boat judge. Pulls out wide on the entry gates. He's going to really have to scramble here. He'll have to work hard, keep moving, and so far so good. 18 metre line. He's getting it done actually. Round 3 he goes. He's out of 4. He's looking good. Across to 5 ball. Oh, that's sensational. Really good pass. Little guy.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Well done, Adam. That was
Sensational.
amazing.
He looked comfortable in the end, didn't he? Yeah, really good stuff there.
And such a good 3 ball.
Yeah, he did.
Really just squeaked around there. I think I owe both of them an apology. I didn't think either of them would clear their first pass.
Well, there you
this
go.
is excellent.
They're really good on a trick ski. You know, they're 4.5, 5,000 point trickers, and I think that helps a lot with turning that slalom ski. You know, that development as a junior. So that's great skiing. He's onto the 16 metre line now. He'd love bragging rights, I'm sure, if he can beat his older brother. He scored 1.5 on this pass.
Oh yeah, competition between them is fierce. I'm not sure how many times he's actually tried 16 meters, but it can't have been many. And probably always at 55, so this is going to be interesting.
I don't want to put you on the spot and ask you how old your younger brother is, but he's 11 or 12 years of age,
Yeah,
I believe.
somewhere there,
Yep.
Here he comes.
Yeah, 16 metre line from the northern end. Big long pull out on the gates there. Through the entry he goes around one. Not a bad start on one actually. He's got two. He's getting a little late here. He will be. He's disappointed. Look at him. Oh, gutted. I was going to run 11 here today, and he's gutted. But no, look, he's beaten Big Brother though.
Yeah,
So
I think he's beaten Big Brother.
I think when he realises that, he'll be kind of happy.
Man, I think Aiden's gonna be mad.
Yeah, it's never much fun being beaten by your little brother and anything. I was kind of lucky. I never got beaten in slalom by my little brothers. Plenty of times in jumping tricks, but and that's saying a lot because I'm not a very good slalom skier. Okay, so next competitor is in the water. It's
Eat.
Natawa from Thailand, isn't it? Yep.
Yep.
Still looking at our leaderboard, 2.5 on the 13 metre, leads the slalom event. That's with Japan, Ryoto Funo. Tied for second, we've got Jimmy Jeong of Korea and Yuichi Yamamoto of Japan with 3.5 on the 14, and then young Adam Young, actually, who's just skied with 2 at 16, is sitting in 4th spot at the moment. So what do we know about this competitor?
He's a slalom specialist. He doesn't do any other events. Let's see what he can do.
Out of Thailand, of course. I'm going to put it out there and say he's Thailand's #1 male slalomer.
Yep.
Being that he's the only one here at the World Champs. This is not a bad pass, actually. Good stuff.
Yeah, just running the 16 meter line. I think he'll be happy if he can get into 13 here. Couple more passes for the medium-aged Thai man. Oh.
That's good.
For Adam.
Okay, so good opening pass there for Thailand. Natawat Hapoldi. Natawat Hapoldi from Thailand. He's #1 men's slalom skier out of Thailand. He's opened up nicely there, 16 metre line, 58 kilometres per hour. Conditions, particularly at that end of the course, are absolutely magnificent at the moment. We've got that breakwater there, of course. There's no wind to speak of.
Oh,
Broken
man.
forward there around 3 ball.
That is such a shame.
We'll have a look at what went wrong on the replay, I'm sure, but he's fallen off around 3. That's what went wrong, but we can analyse it for you. Okay, so the replay's currently down at the moment on webcast, so we'll spare you me trying to pretend I know what's happening in slalom, so we won't go through the replay.
I'm going to have a crack at it.
Yeah, Pippa's all over it.
I don't know. I think this site, you really have to be patient. And when you just get a little bit tense and just try to rush the turn a little bit, the ski just can skip out on you a little bit. So he just was rushing it, I think.
Yeah, maybe a little overexcited, maybe a little nervous tension there. Big moment representing Thailand, of course, in the slalom. So we've got our last competitor now. And, you know, the entire field so far has been from Asia, but we're actually going to Europe now. So just something a bit different. This is the last competitor in this series, sorry. We still have 2 more series. But it is the Ukraine and it is Damir Flaratov.
He was a really good trick skier that fell early, right?
Yeah, he is disappointing stuff, but you know, he's a solid skier. I've got a feeling this guy's only around 13 or 14 years of age. He might be 15, but that would be pushing it. I think he's just a young junior coming up through the ranks. Will be one to watch out for, I'm sure, at the Junior World Champs next year in Santa Rosa Beach, actually, at Corey Pickoss's school in Florida. He opens up with a nice pass there.
Are you going for that?
Yeah,
To Corey Pickoss?
I hope to. Yes, absolutely. Looking forward to the Junior Worlds in next year in 12 months' time.
Yeah, it should be an excellent event.
It will be. It's a great one of the world's great waterski sites, of course. Corey Pickoss's site. Hopefully got a couple of my kids skiing at that event. It depends how they go this year and what the selectors think. But hopefully they're there, and you never know. I might get to do a bit of commentary. Who knows?
So he does have a profile up here on WWS, but it doesn't have his age. His best score is 6 at 12.
Yeah. You know, I'm thinking he's 14 or 15 years of age. Have a listen to these PBs. 6 on the 12-metre line, 7,460 points, and 43.5 metres. So he's the talent coming out of the Ukraine now is just unbelievable. The program they've got running there in Senatosa, I think it is, and the Ukraine, and then of course they spend quite a bit of time in their winter up in Florida, so it's great to see. Here he is now, and this is of course 14.25 I believe now, as he makes his way down the pass around 6 and out the exit gates. Great skiing. I was going to confirm that rope length, because to me that looked shorter than 14.25. That could have been 13 actually. He might have been a 14-metre start, so I need to confirm that. I didn't quite hear it from our officials. Dave, what did he start at? Yeah, sorry, that is confirmed. He started 14.25, so that was the 13-metre line just completed. So he's got the lead. He's going to finish Series 6 with the lead in the slalom event. He's going to be our first men's competitor to be on the 12-metre line. As I said earlier, his personal best is 6 boys on this pass. So he'll be feeling fairly happy. We've got a shot actually down at the start dock of Ukrainian team coach and skiers, and that, and they look of reasonably typical pose from a Ukrainian coach with the arms folded there, but I'd say he'll be fairly happy. Maybe just maybe an opportunity to say a few words to this skier actually down there. They're quite close to the action, aren't they, on the start dock? The boat's stopping real close to the start dock. So from the Ukraine, Demir Floratov from the Ukraine on the 12-metre line. PB is 6 on this pass. Let's see if he can get close to that personal best. Round 1. A little bit slow out of 1. He's going to be late for 2, but he's hanging in there as he works hard across the 3. Oh, this is pretty good. It's going to end up 3, is it?
Oh.
Yep, I think so. 3 boys on the 12-metre line. Look, personal best at 12. You go out there as a youngster and get 3. Personal best of 6 on the 12. You get 3 today in the pressure of a Worlds. I think that's a good result for this young guy. He's going to finish Series 6 as the top score. So congratulations to the young man from the Ukraine. Getting a lot of messages coming in from waterski fans around the world who are watching the webcast. Great to see. I've had messages, of course, and one from my daughter, who's currently in English class back there in New Zealand, and watching the webcast on the laptop while she's listening to a teacher, I'm sure. Yeah. Okay, so this young man, he's done well. 3 on the 12-metre line. He heads back to the start dock. Demir Flaratov, a name I'm sure we'll talk about Junior Worlds next year. You know, he's going to be one of the guys in the hunt for the overall, I'm sure, in the under-17 boys, if he keeps improving the way he is. Okay, so I think we'll probably change drivers now between series, so we might just have an opportunity. We'll run a couple of ads. We might have a 3 or 4 or 5 minute break and be back with Series 5 of Slalom. I'll just run through to let you know who's skiing in Series 5 of Slalom, I guess. We've got first up from Korea will be Song Min Ju. Then we've got from New Zealand, Hugh Donaldson. Jae Yong Park of Korea. Danielo Folachenko of the Ukraine. George Donaldson from New Zealand. Alexander Somolov of the Ukraine, Stefan Shpak of Belarus, Josh Wallant of Australia, Alex King of New Zealand, and Taeho Chung of Korea. That's Asia's #1 slalom skier, so we look forward to that. That's coming up, and of course a lot in this for the Kiwi Waterski fans back home in New Zealand. Shout out to them watching, because we've got Hugh, George, Donaldson and Alex King coming up in this next series. So we've got a driver change. They'll probably do a couple of phantom passes. So we're going to run a couple of ads. Thank you, Tom, and we'll be back on here in about 5 minutes. Okay, welcome back to Putrajaya, folks. Hopefully you had time to make a cup of tea or breakfast or dinner or put the kids to bed, depending what time it is, wherever you may be. So this is Series 5 of men's slalom now, and a Korean athlete first up
Only
is
16.
just 16 years of age, Song Min Ju. Now he's the young guy that tricked super well, didn't he, yesterday? And trying to remember, I think it was close to 5,000 points,
I think so,
or
yeah.
maybe just
He was
over
leading for a long
5,020.
time,
So he's a real young up-and-coming skier out of the Jimmy Jeong training school, of course. Breaks forward a little bit on 2 ball there. This is 14.25 to start, so he's not mucking around. He's going to have to work here though. Round 5, good 5 ball. And 6 boys there. 14.25, so 16 years of age, tricked over 5,000 points. Just started on 14.25 and runs it. This is a up-and-coming junior that is world class, folks, and from Asia, you know, and that's great to see. Really good for Asian water skiing.
Yep, personal best 4:12. Let's see what he can get this one. So he actually got close to his PB. It says here on his profile 5,320 for tricks yesterday. Pretty sure he got over 5,000.
Yeah, well, he's a good solid skier. Actually, looking at the Korean team, I've spent a little bit of time this time last year with the Korean skier Hunch. Can't say his full name, but he didn't actually. I'm surprised. I thought I'd see him here. He was skiing at working for Kai Lead at Ski Fluid. I thought he'd make the Korean team, but he didn't actually get into the Korean team. Now he's got scores in jumps in the high 50s and slaloms into 11. So it was obviously the very high standard, the Koreans this year. Very high standard. It's great to see. Pressure for selection, you know, that's what a country needs. .13 metre line now. Remember, current lead is 3 at 12 in men's slalom. That is with the Ukraine. Just a little bit late out of 2 here. He's going to need to make up some time. He's hanging in there though. Breaks forward a little. Around 5 he goes, and he'll run the 14.25. Good stuff. Youngster, 16 years of age.
He looks so calm.
He's super calm, yeah. Foot out of the back kicker when he pulls out the short, and that's a sign of relaxation. And he's on to the 12-metre line now, so of course the lead is 3 boys with the Ukraine. I said earlier on this morning as we started men's slalom elimination, Pippa, I think I counted up to 67 in the men's slalom, looking for a spot. There's 12 making it into the final. So she's pretty tough. It's pretty hard to make it into a men's slalom final at the World Champs. You would think you're going to need probably into the 10.75 to make the final. So, you know, that's still a wee way off that with 3 at 12. We're not probably going to see any of these guys in the slalom final. You never quite know, though.
Yeah, his personal best is 4 at 12. What do you reckon this pass?
Well, why not? Why not get 4? We saw an equal PB yesterday, I think, in the ladies. Tony Atkinson, she got 3 at 12. That was equal to her PB.
Clear. I call it.
You reckon 4?
I reckon he's going to clear.
You're going to reckon he's going to run it? Okay, yeah. Excellent. Let's see how we go. 16-year-old Japanese competitor. This is the 12-metre line. Into 2 he goes. Round
Korean.
2.
Oh.
Sorry, Korean, yeah. And he's finished up with 2 there on the 12-metre line. Good score. PB's 4, so he's not too far off his PB.
Oh, he just looks so good on the pass earlier. Looks pretty happy there.
Yeah, well, he'd be smiling for a bunch of reasons. One of them would be that he beat his coach, Jimmy Jeong, so by a couple of courses actually. So yeah, I'm sure he'd had a bit of banter in the Korean team van on the way home tonight.
See all the press there sitting on the shore.
Yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah.
And the Korean, I think that might even be Jimmy Jeong there with the camera down there. It's a bit hard to see, but I think it could be. Watching his pupil out there ski pretty well with 2 on the 12-metre line. Just talking about the opening again, last night I chuckled to myself. You know, it was probably 34, 35 degrees and it's high humidity, so it feels like, I don't know, 37, 38 degrees. And everybody's sweltering in the heat, and the Malaysian team come in wearing full tracksuits. You know, like long track pants and
We were
jacket. It was a
cold.
little bit cold, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Only 35 degrees, a little bit cool.
Well, even the coach, you know, Marion from France, he was in a full trackie.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
So well done to this young 16-year-old Zong Min Chu. Couple on the 12 metre line, adds that to his 5,000 point trick run yesterday, and he heads back to the start dock.
Yeah, it'd be good to interview his coach, Jimmy. Should try and get him up here.
We should.
Who's next?
Now, a big moment now for Kiwi Waterski fans. I'm sure plenty of them are tuning in right now on the webcast. It's what is it? It's hard to lose track of time, but I think it's a little after 1 p.m. in New Zealand at the moment.
Not a great day for the trickers, all the trickers yesterday.
No, they didn't go so well, the Kiwi trickers, but we've got slalom. Slalom's more of our thing, and it's Hugh Donaldson. He'll be up first. Of course, his twin brother George will slalom as well in this series, and also Alex King. So 3 New Zealand slalomers up in the next 45 minutes. So plenty of you. If you're a Kiwi Waterski fan, it's time to tune in.
A little bit of stress for Alex King recently,
Yeah, he's
having all those delayed flights and
his
lost
skis were
luggage.
lost. It's good news is that they did finally get here yesterday afternoon. Alex didn't get Famil here on the actual site, but he has, I think he got a slalom set up at Godzilla, which is on the same lake, so different course, but at least he's had a bit of a look at thing. Anyway, Hugh Donaldson now, 16 metre line, I would say, to start. And the 2 twins, of course. He's got his older twin, or younger twin, I don't know, probably the same age actually, skiing a little bit later on. But of the 2 twins, there's not much in it. There's only a boy in between their slalom PB, but I think we're going to say that we've always kind of said that Hugh is the tricker and jumper and George is the slalomer, which is sort of true, but you know, I think both these guys are capable of running the 12 metre line, so hopefully they can pull that off for us. Yeah, it's PB's 3.5 at 12 metre line in a tournament.
So probably in practice he gets into 11.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it's a possibility his PB, because he had a tournament at, he was training at Florida with Kyle Eade at Ski Fluid, and there was a tournament not long ago, only 2 weeks ago, at Kyle's, and I thought I might have seen a score of 4 or 5 at 12, but I could be wrong there. So it's possible that he's increased that PB a little bit since he's done his profile. But yeah, he's skied at in Paris for New Zealand actually 2 years ago at the World, so he's had a bit of experience.
Do you remember what he got there in Paris?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, I'm going to say it was probably something on the 14. There, he's improved a little bit since then, I think. Here he goes. This will be 14.25 for Hugh Donaldson. Comes out of 1 ball, not too bad. Round 2, heads across to 3. Round 4, he's looking like he's got this one in the bag. He'll get the 6 boys. And Hugh Donaldson, the Kiwi, runs the 14.25 metre line.
Throws his head back there, looks a little bit relieved.
Yeah, there was a couple of moments there where he could have fallen, I think, and he knows that. But I think the way to ski this course is to kind of be a little patient, like you said earlier, and just don't worry if you're getting a little bit late. Just, you know, obviously you don't want to fall off. Once you fall off, it's all over. But if you can afford to be a little bit late on 5 and 6, as long as you run the pass, and I think especially on some of these lower seeds, we might not see perfect slaloming. We might not see you know, guys being super early waiting for the boys, but that doesn't really matter as long as they get the six boy count at the end. Hugh Donaldson from the South Island of New Zealand, so a little town called Ashburton, about an hour south of Christchurch, and it gets pretty cool there in winter. It's has been known to snow there in winter, and of course they're not far from some of the best ski fields in the southern hemisphere as well. So it's not really something you do this time of year in where Hugh's from in Ashburton, is go water skiing, but he'll be enjoying these warm climbs here. Good start on 1 here. This is 13 metre line now for Hugh. Breaks forward a little on 2. Round 3, he's hanging in there. He's a little down course, but he's pushing hard. Breaks forward, he's late now for 5. He's in a bit of trouble here. He's going to work out. Oh, no. Broke forward a little bit around 4, which meant he needed a massive 5 ball, and he was just too late, and it just didn't come together. So he's going to be disappointed. It's not a disaster, though. You know, it's a solid score of 4.5 at 13 metre line, but I think he knows he really probably wanted that 13 metre pass and to get sort of 3 or 4 at 12 was his aim.
Yeah, he seems to have a little bit of trouble on 2 and 4, right? It's just
Yeah, he's just breaks forward a little bit there. Like I say, he's a 55 metre jumper, so that's his event probably, which is actually, I think he's jumping later on today. So we look forward to that.
Yep, they're one of the last jumpers.
Yeah, one of the last jumpers of the day today, so he will look forward to that, I'm sure, because he didn't have such a good trick yesterday either, so far for Hugh. I mean, look, to be fair, he's he's 6 boys off his best, so it's not, it's a solid score, but I think he would have wanted, his aim was probably to run that 13 metre pass, and he hasn't quite done it. So we go to Korea now, which Jae-young Park of Korea. He'll be our next competitor. We get some nice long shots here of how good a swimmer Hugh is, and it's good to see. He probably gets a lot of practice here at swimming, so seems to work quite well on a stroke over the years.
Oh, the next skier doesn't have a profile. Jae-young, you got to get on to WWS, get your profile done. Been having some really good coverage by the Malaysian media last few days.
Yeah, it's item on the sports news on the national TV. You just showed me the clip. I couldn't understand what they were saying, but it looked like great coverage.
Yeah,
It was good.
and all the newspapers, really good support from the local press, which we really appreciate.
It's great. We had a visit yesterday, of course, here in commentary from the president of Putrajaya, and he's a sporty sort of a dude. He was, right behind any sporting event here in this great city, so it was great to see. Big supporter of the water skiing. So Jae-young Park here now. I still haven't got his start rope length yet, but it looks pretty short to me. I'd say it's 14 metre. So he is he's here meaning business. He's not mucking around. Through the entrance gates and around 1. It's the 2. It's a little bit deep on 3, but he's okay as he heads across the 5. Oof, almost found a hole there on 5, but it's okay because he gets 6 and he's out the gates.
Just 23 years old, but he looks strong.
Yeah, he does. I'd say he's pumping a bit of tin. I would say he spends a bit of time in the gym. That young man, he's very strongly built. Good jumper. Really looking forward. He hasn't got his PBs here because he hasn't filled out his profile, as you said. But I know he's a very good jumper, so we look forward to that. He's probably jumping this afternoon as well. If we had a look at it. A lot of these guys that are slaloming at the moment probably jumping again this afternoon. So we've got we've still probably got a couple of hours of slalom, I'd say, here this morning, prelims, and then of course we're going to go to ladies tricks series 3 elimination round, and then later on this afternoon we've got some jumping. So that's our program for today, day 2 of these world champs. So from the northern end, after a 60-second drop time, behind the magnificent Nautique towboat, we have Jae Yong Park. This is the 13-metre line. Not a bad start on one. Round two he goes. Getting it done actually. Geez, conditions look really good out there at the moment, particularly up at that end of the slalom course. Big crank on 5-ball, and he runs it super strong.
Yeah. I mean, all these guys are super strong, but it's
Just as well we're using masterline ropes, I reckon, Pip, because geez, I tell you what, any other rope and it might have snapped by now with Jae Yong Park out there. He is reaching out of those turns, taking a big load.
he almost looks like he's doing 12 meters out there, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he's going to be now, so we look forward to that. But yeah, that was a pretty good pass. Standard of Korean slalom skiing is looking pretty good, because we've had the youngster, of course, a little early on, Seong Min Chu, of course, with 2 at 12. We've got Mr. Park out there at the moment, who's shortening onto the 12, and of course the number one slalom skier in Asia is from Korea, Taeho Chung, who's up in half an hour or so. So the standard of Korean slalom skiing is really on the rise. Okay, here he comes. Jae Yong Park from Korea, 12-metre line. Current lead is still with the Ukraine with 3 boys. Round one he goes. Not a bad one actually. Kids across the 2. Getting late now and he's going to have to work hard for 3. I don't think so. 2 on the 12-metre line, so he ties with his fellow Korean skier in second spot. Jae Yong Park 2 at 12. And a solid score. But still the 15-year-old Ukrainian, Damir Flaratov, still leading with 3 on the 12-metre line.
Quite keen to see Taeho Chung coming up. He's the last in this series because he's been training here in Malaysia.
Yeah, he's exciting too.
Yeah. He did some intro videos for us. If you go onto our social media, you can see his interview.
Yeah, I've driven the boat from a few times. He made his way down to New Zealand, Taeho Chung, and skied training for the Asian Oceania champs at Lake Kiritau. Drove a bit from there, and also drove from a little bit at Kai Leeds last summer. Name dropping here, you know.
Yeah.
You know how it is. And geez, tell you what, you got to be on your game to keep the boat on the course, because he's not super tall, Taeho Chung, but he's very strong. So look forward to that. But before that, we've got plenty of other exciting action to come. We go now back to the Ukraine. Our next competitor, we've got to bring our Korean skier back to the dock. But when we go back to the dock, we're picking up Danilo Filipchenko of the Ukraine. Now he's an outside chance at winning overall here. He's one of the best overall skiers in the world, of course. A bit of a sensation this year in the jump event at the LCQ at Jack Travis's, the last chance qualifier for the US Masters, where he increased his jump PB by 4 or 5 metres, and he ended up, I think from memory, it was close to 69 metres that he jumped at that event, and of course went to under 21 Worlds in Canada. Danilo Filipchenko would have won overall if it wasn't for an absolutely sensational performance by Britain's Joel Poland. So he's right up there as one of the guys that's got a shot at the overall. So he's pretty early on in the slalom event. So he's probably the first skier we're going to see at this Worlds in the men's event that has a shot at taking out the men's overall title at these Worlds. So we look forward to this. Danilo Filipchenko from the Ukraine.
Just 20 years old. Young guy. Personal best 4 at 11. So
yeah. So slalom is the weaker of his 3 events. He tricks 11,500 points, jumps 69.3 meters. So magnificent overall skier. But the interesting thing when we talk about overall is that this is a site that I think suits tricks and jump more than slalom, so that will actually play into a little bit like the Worlds that were held in Dubna, Russia, I think 10 years ago. It was about 10 years ago. No, it wasn't 10 years ago. It was
2011, I think.
2011, something like that. Okay, here we're back on the water. Danilo Filipchenko I was going to say that this site may suit the guys that are a little bit weaker in slalom when it comes to the overall, but we'll wait and see. I'm just sort of surmising a little bit there. Geez, fell in a little bit on 4 ball there, Danilo Fichenko, as he heads around 6 and opens up there, 14 metre line. He was probably fine, Pippa, but just the way he went around 4 ball there, it was almost all over on the overall for Danilo, but he's comfortably through in the end. 6 boys on the 14.25 metre line. So yeah, what I was saying, I was talking about the overall battle here, which is, I mean, it's going to run right through till Sunday afternoon until we know who's won the men's overall. But I just get a feeling here, I think that it's the slalom scores might be a little bit compressed, so it might suit the guys that are in overall that are a little bit weaker in slalom, you know, because everybody in overall tends to have their events that they're super strong in. And this guy, Danilo, he's super strong in tricks and jump, but maybe not so strong. 4:11 is not a huge score in slalom, but you never know, he could be in the running when it comes down to that overall title, depending on how he goes over the next few days. Okay, so this will be 13 metre. Round 1 he goes. Across to 2. Great 2 ball. Round 3. Looks a little slow out of 3, but let's see how he goes. He's making it up on 4. Round 5, and he'll get to 6. Good pass there. 13 metre line from the Ukraine. So under 21 Worlds in Canada, I sat home actually at home and watched the webcast, and he took out the trick title there. Probably went into the event as the favourite in the jump, but Joel Poland took him out in that and in the overall, but it was a close battle.
So who do you reckon the top 3 for overall is going to be the battle? Adam Sedlmeier?
Adam Sedlmeier is the world record holder. He's here, so you know he's right there. There's actually talk about top 3, it's almost a top 5 or 6. I think there's, you know, obviously Dorian Llewellyn is in the mix, Martin Coleman, Pepe Miranda, who's a 2-time overall winner. He's the defending champion from 2017 in Paris. You know, so there's a whole long list of guys. Joel Poland, of course, as well, who took out under 21 overall. He's in all sorts of form at the moment. There's others as well. You know, you could go to a Rob Hazelwood, also from Great Britain, who's really solid. So the thing with overall, as you know, is that all 3 events you've got to get together, and for a guy like Danilo, who's out there at the moment, he probably won't make the slalom final, so this is his only chance to get an overall score, is right here, right now. So here we go. This is 12 metre line. Round 2, he's looking solid, looking like this 12 metre line is going to go down, but he breaks forward a bit out of 3. He needs some big work here on 4. Great 4 ball across the 5. He's got 5. He's late for 6, but he should get there, and he does. And that's sensational. Big fist pump, and that is all about the overall. That fist pump is all about the overall, Pippa, because he knows that gives him a shot now. PB's 4:11. He's going to be within 4 boys of his PB, and sensational stuff from Danilo Fichenko from the Ukraine. First 12 metre pass goes down at these world champs.
Yeah, that was an amazing fight. Well done, Danielo.
Yeah, he's an absolute superstar. I think probably known more for his tricks up until 3 or 4 years ago. You know, he was magnificent trick skier. You know, one of those guys that at 14 years of age could trick 9,000 points. So magnificent, but he's brought up his other 2 events. Kind of typical maybe of the Eastern Europeans that slalom is their weaker event. But you know, he's got a huge future. Like I said earlier, the Ukrainian program at the moment is just running so hot.
He trains in America and is currently residing in Monroe.
Yeah, so he's goes to school at Monroe, which is arguably the #1 collegiate waterski team in the US. Here we go now. This is 11.25 metre line. Remember, his PB is 4, so this is a pretty decent result. Not a bad one, actually. Round 2. Look at it. Oh, geez, if he had hung on to that, you know, he would have got across the 3, and then he's within a buoy of his PB, so his personal best. So that's good skiing. Are we going to give him 2? We'll wait and see what the judges say. Touch and go. I'll give him 2 from commentary. Remember, he's got to be in a skiing position when he gets back across the wakes to get the full 2 buoys.
Not sure if we're going to have the slow-mo replay.
Yeah, it'd be good because
Yeah.
we're working on it. Because he was loaded up pretty hard. You know, it would have taken... Jae Yong Park would have hung on to it, I'm sure, that the previous skier, the Korean guy, because he looks like he's been lifting weights for the last 20 years. But if Danilo had have held on to that and got across the 3 ball, it would have been a huge effort. But he just couldn't quite hang on to the rope. So that's interesting. That really helps out his overall chances. So, you know, like I said, you've got to perform in all 3 events, and the first event goes well for the Ukrainian competitor. Okay, back to New Zealand now. The #1 country in the world as far as I'm concerned. And we've got George Donaldson, twin brother of Hugh. We saw Hugh a little bit earlier on. Let's see how GD goes. Pick, and he'll be on the 16 metre line to start. Good start on 1 there. Round 2 he goes. Across the 3. Look, that's good. Pretty relaxed skiing from George. It almost looked like he might have nodded off a little bit while he was out there. He's certainly probably the most relaxed opening pass of any skier that we've seen.
It's kind of jumping the weights, though, compared to the previous skier.
Yeah. No. I think he looked pretty relaxed out there. We're shortened now to the 14.25. See one of the other boats heading up to another one of the slalom courses or jump courses on this lake, and don't worry folks, he would have been well past the course. It's deceptive, but he would have been well past the slalom course and where we are before he powered up. Beautiful conditions at the moment. There's no wind whatsoever, no sunstrike, because we have this humid kind of mist coming down on us.
This low-lying cloud.
Low-lying cloud, yeah. Yeah, here we go, 14.25 for George Donaldson. From the northern end. Round 1 he goes. Into 2. Good solid 2 ball. Round 3. He's getting it done here, isn't he? 14.25. Breaks a little bit on 4, but he's okay. Round 5 he goes. Yep, that's pretty conservative stuff. He just made sure of it. Made sure he didn't fall off, because that's the aim of the game. What do they say? No handle, no hope.
Yep, nice pass.
So he just took it buoy to buoy and runs the 14.25 metre.
Now he's going to want to run this next pass, right? 13
Yeah,
meters.
this is, he'll be disappointed if he doesn't. He's normally pretty consistent on the 13 metre. Like I said, his PB's about 5, I think, on the 12 metre line. Finished second at our national champs this year in the open men's slalom. So yeah, he's which was probably a little bit of an upset, but he's still got it together. He's a consistent sort of a slalom skier, so he looks forward to this 13 metre pass for George Donaldson. See his father Neil just taking a few photos down there on the start dock. Here we go, big moment. This is the difference between him being happy and sad about his slalom set at the Worlds. If he runs this pass, I think he'd be reasonably comfortable with where he's at. Round 1 he goes. Round 2, no, he's in big trouble here. I don't know if he's can he? Oh, it would have been a miracle. Well, that's devastation. horrible 2-ball, and it's a big slap of the water for George Donaldson. It almost looked for a second like he might just pull off a miracle around 3, but he couldn't quite do it, Pippa. And that is disappointing for George Donaldson and New Zealand.
That is disappointing. Goodness.
Wow.
His one ball looked pretty good.
One was absolutely fine. They does have a bit of a tendency, as you said earlier, to break forward a little bit on his offside, which is 2 and 4. And that's what's happened here. But it's disappointing, really, because he's normally really consistent running the 13-metre line. The Kiwis had a really good start in slalom with Tony Atkinson slalom yesterday, but unfortunately the Donaldson boys not so good. But I know I'm being horribly biased in commentary towards New Zealand here, but our better slalomers are yet to come anyway. But we'll be fine. Still disappointing for George. The Donaldsons are great servants of New Zealand water skiing. They front up to all the world, under 17, under 21, open worlds, Oceania, Asian Oceania. They travel the world representing New Zealand, so they're great servants of our sport in New Zealand, and it's disappointing to see maybe not skiing so well so far at these world champs. So as George completes his long swim of shame there, back to the dock, we go to the Ukraine competitor, Alexander Samolov.
It's going to be interesting to see if we see any Godzillas today. What do you reckon, Glenn?
Okay, so elaborate. Godzilla is something that could possibly come up out of the water and bite the skier as they're swimming back.
Monitor lizards.
They're lizards?
No, they don't really bite.
They don't bite? So they're kind of like Malaysian alligators, or?
Monitor lizards.
Monitor lizards, okay. 10,590 points in tricks and 61.3 meters. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, yeah.
He, of course, the junior world jump champion as well, I believe. I think he took out the jump title last year.
Wow, amazing.
In Spain.
Oh, he's a tall guy.
I don't know what they do in the Ukraine, but whatever they're doing, they've got it right. Their skiers are with so well, aren't they? 3 event skiing. This is a good opening pass, 14.25, no problem at all. Solid, strong opening pass. I actually think, I could be wrong here, but I think even though he's still 16, I've got a feeling that he's might be too old for the Junior Worlds next year. But if he isn't, if he's young enough to ski Junior Worlds next year, he has got to be one of the favourites in the under 17 overall, because it's just an absolute sensation. Started skiing at just 6 years of age. Coached, of course, by the great Yuri Yermanev, who you see around site. Former weightlifting champion, I'd say, by the look of him. I'm not actually, I think he was a weightlifting champion, but he's a good guy, and he's a good coach, and he's doing a magnificent job with the Ukrainians.
Yeah, we need his secret sauce. We should get him up here too. Ask him what he's been doing.
Okay, here we go. Alexander Samolov, 13 metre line. Ukrainians are leading the men's slalom at the moment, number 1 and number 2 so far. So let's see if they can have the top 3. It's good stuff here as he heads across the 5-ball, 13 metre line. No problem at all. Great skiing. So he'll shorten now onto the blue, shortening the 12 metre line. So men's slalom at the moment currently leading with 1.5 on the 11.25 metre line is Danilo Flelchenko from the Ukraine. Second spot also from the Ukraine, Damir Fleratov with 3 on the 12-metre line. We go down to Korea, who have third and fourth spot, Jaeyoung Park with 2 at 12, and Seong Min Ju with 2 also on the 12-metre line. And then rounding out the top 5, we've got Hugh Donaldson, who's on 4.5 on the 13-metre line. Well, actually, sorry, he would have slipped into 6th now, as we just saw Alexander run the 13-metre line. So top 5 at the moment, 3 Ukrainians and 2 Koreans. Very international, the field at the moment in the men's slalom. Still, we've got 67 competitors in men's slalom, and I think at the moment we've only seen around 15 of them, so long way to go. A lot of the top seeds, of course. Some of the top seeds probably aren't even here yet in Malaysia. I don't know, but some of the real guns, the Nate Smiths, Will Ashes, those guys I have not seen on site yet. They'll be rocking in probably today. This is a good pass so far on the 12-metre line. He's making his way down the pass. Is he going to do it? I think he is. Oh, sensational stuff. Second Ukrainian to run the 12. They're just doing it out there like it's nothing. 16-year-old runs the 12-metre line. Magnificent stuff. Conditions are good at the moment, and he'll be on to the 11.25. Wow, that is great skiing.
So where do they train in the Ukraine?
Now, there's a magnificent Waterski club there. I can't say the name of the city because I don't speak Ukrainian that well, but it's at Senatosa Waterski Club. It's an awesome place. I haven't been there, but the under 21 Worlds were there a few years back, and I watched the webcast. So most of what I know is from watching webcasts of water skiing. And they've got a cable park there, and it looks like a great site. It's part of a kind of a bigger river or lake, and it's a bit of an offshoot with an island around it. And they train there, but of course they do spend quite a bit of time in Florida as well. It gets kind of cold in the Ukraine in winter, I'm sure. Kind of cold that you Malaysians probably wouldn't even be able to comprehend.
No, I'm freezing in here actually right now. We're past.
Yeah, well, it's probably only, 23, 24 degrees with the aircon on, so you poor thing. Well, 11.25. Well, his fellow countryman has got 1.5 at 11. Danielo Filchenko. Let's see what Alexander Salmonov can do here. 11.25. He's not a bad start on 1. He's going to get around 2. Great 2-ball. Look at him go. Round 3. Oh. Sensational stuff. Put your hands together. 2.5 on the 11.25 metre line. Well done. Well, it's all about the Ukraine at the moment in the men's slalom. And it's not even, slalom's not even the Ukrainians' event. The tricks and jumpers where they're super strong. But they are just spanking out slalom scores at the moment, the Ukrainians. So he will take the lead now. 16-year-old, 2.5 on the 11.25 metre line. Well, we're going not too far from the Ukraine now. We go to Belarus. And a Belarusian competitor who is Stefan Shpak.
Also really well known for their training methods, no?
Yeah, start off in the pools, swimming pools, especially in the colder months in Belarus. And they're tricking in the swimming pools, of course. And
the
then
cable, right?
Yeah, cable in the swimming pool. So
somebody said it's like a motorbike kind of throttle.
Yeah, and 5-second trick run, I guess. It's not very long, I don't think. 50 metres. I don't know how long it would cover to take the cover 50 metres at at 28 kilometres per hour, 25 kilometres per hour. But actually, we probably work that out pretty easy but we're not going to because we're commentators and we're busy. But they can't be 20-second runs. Put it that way. Yeah. Okay, so we're gone to Belarusia now. So what we're looking at on the screen there, folks, is not what's actually happening. We've now got the Belarusian out there on his opening pass, which I think was 14.25. It's Stepan Shpak. I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering his last name there, but...
I think his nickname is Spock, no?
Okay, his nickname's
so.
Spock?
I think so.
Excellent, we're going to go with that. That'll be easy. So we think he started on the 14.25. We haven't quite confirmed that yet, but we're going to run with it anyway because it's fairly standard for the calibre of these guys skiing.
Just looking at the weather, it's looking a little bit ominous. I don't know if there's going to be rain soon,
Yeah,
which would be interesting.
certainly humid enough to rain, but we'll just have to wait and see. We've got lots of time in our program. If we have to delay a little bit for rain, we can. So at the moment it's all Eastern Europe in the men's slalom. And we've got Stefan Spach at the moment out there from Belarus. And this will be 13 metre from the northern end. Here we go, round one he goes. Bit of spray in the face, but that doesn't mean it's a bad turn. Big solid guy. Round three he goes, breaks forward a little bit, but he's fighting hard. He's around four, great four ball. He'll get to five, across to six. Yeah, good pass, 13 metre line, no worries at all. 24-year-old Belarusian.
Personal best at 3 at 11.25, so he'll be wanting to run this next pass, I'm sure. 10,000 point tricker, 66 meters. These guys are just phenomenal.
Yeah. You wonder what the Eastern Europeans kind of think of the rest of the world. You know, like everybody, and it seems like everybody in Eastern Europe tricks over 10,000 points, you know, in the male skiing. It's crazy, really. I don't know, I spent a lot of hours driving the boat at home, taking my kids skiing, and I don't know how these guys get 10,000 point trickers, because we haven't figured it out in New Zealand, that's for sure. And we can't complain about the cold, because it's a heck of a lot colder in the Ukraine and Belarus than it is in New Zealand, so full credit to them. Here we go. 12 metre line. Last two competitors from the Ukraine have run this pass. Can we see it from Belarus? He looks okay at the moment as he heads around two, getting a little down course, but his big turn on three, he's actually on time here at the moment, round four, round five, he's fighting hard, I think he can do it. That is sensational skiing. Remembering that his personal best is 3 at 11, so he's 3 boys off his personal best at a world champs. That really is good skiing, sensational stuff. Once again, we're looking at a graphic on the screen, yeah, which says Alexander Solmonov, but we've moved on now to the Belarusian skier, Stefan Shak.
David,
So,
it's the wrong name.
at least I think that's what's happening anyway. I'm pretty sure we're at Belarus now. Oh, this is sensational. These guys are just running the 12 metre line, you know, and they're close to their best the last couple of skiers, which is great to see. You know, it's a tribute, I think, too, to the Nordic boats. The athletes are great, but these Nordic boats, because yes, this site possibly is a little bit tougher for slalom than some sites around the world, but we're still seeing good scores so far. And I think a lot of it has to do with that magnificent Nordic towboat, you know, the micro tuners, everything. It's got a great wake, it's holding a great line, it's just feels nice and easy to ski behind.
Yeah, and it's just so easy to drive. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
It's really
It
smooth.
is. Yep, and it makes even a bad driver feel good, which is great for anyone who skis behind me. Okay, here's 11.25 metre line. Big pull through the gates, round one. He's using a lot of aggression here at the moment. Oh, good effort there. I love the big hard falls because they look exciting, don't they? And he certainly, man, he put all the strain in the world on that masterline slalom rope and that Nordic towboat. He's going to finish up with 1.5 at 11. Ties him for second spot at the moment. So the Eastern Europeans 1, 2 and 3 at the moment in the men's slalom.
And it's really good. I was so happy when they came up with these quick release boots, just
Yeah.
to save our legs a little bit. It's so much safer nowadays than it was before.
Okay, so we're going to Australia now. First Australian to slalom at these World Champs, and that's going to be Josh Walland.
So what do you know about Josh?
Josh, he's a good young bloke out of South Australia. He's personal best 1.5 at 11.
I think his parents are here actually.
Are they? Okay, cool. I haven't bumped into them yet. We're up here in our ivory tower, and we don't see a lot of the people that are sweltering down there in the heat, Pippa, but
Yeah. Big shout out to all the officials down there too, especially on the start dock. Jaja, Eve, Nigel. Everyone's doing a great job. Here he comes.
yeah, Josh Wallen. He's a good 3 event skier, very solid. Jumps probably his main event, but you know, he's, as I said, PB's 1.5 at 11. Around 3 ball. This is 14.25 to start. Across the 6. No problems at all. Good opening pass here on the 14.25 metre line.
Not such a good trick skier, but an over 60-meter jumper.
Yeah, 62.3 metre jumper. Sure, a lot of Aussies are tuning in at about now. It's well, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, I think, in Australia at the moment. So, bit of breakfast viewing for the Aussies.
Really?
Oh, it's the other way, is it?
Yeah, it's the
it's
other
later.
way.
Sorry, I'm so confused. Everyone in Australia's like, what the heck is Glenn talking about? You're right. It's coming up to lunchtime. It's 11:45. Well, it depends what part of Australia you're from, of course.
Yeah, Perth
That's
is
the
the same
eastern
time.
seaboard. You're South Australia,
Yeah.
it's a little different. And then, of course, if you're from Perth, Western Australia, then it probably is actually behind. You know, it's probably 9 o'clock in the morning there. Australia's a big place. I'm sure everyone's here's looked at a map before, but it's a very big place. It's crazy how big it is. So Josh Wallen, we just see him down the northern end there. He's shortening now onto the 13 metre line. And here we go. Good solid start here on 1, round 2 he goes. Across the 3. Pretty simple stuff at the moment, which is what we all want to see here. 13 metre line here for Aussie Josh Wallen. No worries at all. Out the exit gates. Australia, of course, so we go back to the history books. Only once have they won men's slalom at a world titles. And of course, it was here in Asia though, in Singapore in 1993, where the great Carrot, Brett Thurley, took out that title. They've won women's slalom a few times, but men's slalom has eluded them over the years. Probably more known for the jump event, the Australian males, of course. But yeah, no, it's that's the only other worlds ever held in Asia, of course, in Singapore, which is not too far away, really. It's at the tip of this peninsula that we're on here in Malaysia.
Yeah, which coincidentally is by the same organizer. Hanifa.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
ran the Singapore Worlds,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
93, yeah. So I was there selling like friendship bracelets and stuff. I think I was 13 or 14.
I was going to say, you can't have been that old in 1993 even. I actually remember watching it. Some of the final made the news bulletin at home. And I've got this picture of Bruce Neville, I think, won the jump, and he was obviously happy on the dock. But in the same instant, Patrice Martin realised he'd won the overall, and he was crying that the French, emotions were running wild. And we saw that back home on the news, the sports news in New Zealand. So there we go. Here's Josh Wallen now, 12 metre line. This is a big moment for him. He's pushing and scrambling his way down the course. Geez, if he can run this, it'll be a big effort. He's late though. Good effort, because 4.5 at 12, Pippa, is PB's 1.5 at 11. That's a good score. Mm-hmm. You can't complain about that. For a little while there, I thought he was going to run that pass. And in true Aussie fashion, he was scrambling his way down, pushing and prodding, and it was a little bit agriculture, but it's kind of the way you need to ski a little bit here, I think. And that's a good score, 4.5 at 12 from Josh Wallen.
Especially at these shorter lines, they just one little mistake, right,
Oh, yeah.
can just set you up.
I think, a guy like Josh Wallen, his PB's 1.5 at 11. He's probably not going to run 12 by skiing it here, by skiing it smooth and that sort of thing. He's going to have to really push it, and that's what he tried, and good on him. So I think that he'll be happy. His main event, of course, the jump is still to come, but 4.5 at 12 is a good score when your personal best is 1.5 at 11. To go out and do that in the pressure of a Worlds, that's great skiing from Josh Wallen.
Yeah, too right. Next skier is a New Zealander.
Oh, excellent. And he's good too, Alex King. He's better than his seeding. He had a 12-month break, Alex King, from injury, and he probably should be in at least Series 4, maybe even Seed 3 in slalom. But because of the injury, he hasn't quite got those big scores that he had. So,
what happened to him?
I unfortunately did his Achilles, and he missed the last Worlds in Paris because of his Achilles, and he had almost 12 months off skiing, Alex King. But he's capable, I think, 2 or 3 boys at 10.75 is his PB.
Did his Achilles detach?
Yeah, quite possibly. I don't know exactly.
Yeah, that's really weird because Larry Gisler, our assistant chief judge, also his Achilles detached from his heel.
Yeah, it was just actually taking bindings off, to be honest. It wasn't a crash or anything. He was,
yeah, exactly. Same with Larry.
I've seen it happen at Jimmy Seamers as well. Happened just before Moomba a few years back. But yeah, slalom, because Alex is happy to have his own slalom ski, but he missed out on training on it because unfortunately it got lost. I don't know if we're blaming JetBlue, Qatar, or Emirates Airlines, but one of those 3 airlines lost
Not one
its
of our
bag.
sponsors. So.
No, none of our sponsors, and it's not Malaysian Airlines or Air New Zealand, so we can fully give them a hard time. Actually, we're going to have a bit of a delay here, and I don't know why, because the boat is still up at the northern end of the lake. It might be a buoy off or something we can't see from where we are, but here's the boat going back now, so they've possibly fixed things. Seemed like it was more than 60 seconds at that end though, Pippa, so I'm not sure exactly what happened. But yeah, Alex King on form is arguably our best slalom skier. He's not right now though. We've got Morgan Deal who comes up towards the end of Series 4 in slalom, but Alex is, like I say, capable of getting into 10.75, so we'll be looking forward to that.
Morgan's a really big guy too.
Morgan's super tall, so we look forward to that.
I haven't actually met Alex King yet. Is he a tall guy?
No, he's not. He's jumping's his main event, but he's got a good slalom style, and he really can get moving on the skis and gets that ski around, which is great to see. From an unusual place for a New Zealand water ski, from the west coast of the South Island, Hokitika.
Isn't that all like forest?
Yeah, sort of, and he's probably the only water skier to really ever come out of Hokitika, to be honest. It's not a huge place on the west coast of the South Island. Over the Alps, over the Southern Alps from Christchurch. And he's the New Zealand under 21 slalom record holder, actually, with 2 at 10.75, and he's also the New Zealand under 21 jump record holder. So he's a solid skier, and here he comes, Alex King. We'll be starting on the 14.25 metre line. Good start on 1. Round 2. He's taking it fairly easy out there. He's making sure of things, I think. Fortunately, didn't get a famil here because of the loss of his skis, or the misplacement, shall we call it. But that was fine. I mean, he normally would run that pass earlier than that, but I think he was just making sure he didn't do anything silly out there, which is a smart way to ski it. So 14.25 goes down for Alex King. He'll shorten down to the 13 metre line.
Pretty good run for going out there like totally stone cold, no
Yeah.
practice at all.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of run-in from that start dock end either, so it's pretty daunting.
Just showing his experience and skill out there, right?
Yeah, so of all the Kiwis in this Kiwi team, he's probably spent the most time at big tournaments. He's got big tournament experience. Of course, he goes to Munro University, so he skis and trains with a lot of the world's best skiers. Works at Jack Travis Ski School a lot at Sunset Lake, so he's He's there a lot, coaching and driving the boat. He hangs out with all the rock stars of our sport, so he gets it. He understands skiing really well. Really good coach as well, Alex. He's done a little bit of coaching with my kids back home in New Zealand, and he knows the sport really well. So he'll be concentrating down there, thinking about the 13-metre pass, which is about to come up from the northern end.
So how long can you ski in New Zealand? How many months?
Depends where you are. It's a big difference between the North and South Islands, but I would say South Island, if you're tough, you can ski 6 months of the year.
Oh, if you're tough.
Yeah, if you're tough. North Island, you can ski all year round in the very tip of the North Island, but you've still got to be pretty tough to do that. Here we go, Alex King, 13-metre line. Jeez, he's taking it super easy out there. You can tell he's been really cautious, which is probably the smart way to do it. He's just making sure he goes around all 6 boys. But it was almost like he sort of came into full ball. He had a look in front of him, and he's like, that water's moving a little bit. I'm just going to really slowly turn here, and just to make sure I don't fall off. And you can do that at 14 and 13 metre, but you can't really do it at 12 and 11. So I think he's going to have to get into his work now on the 12-metre line. Okay, here we go, Alex King from New Zealand. Big moment for Alex and the Kiwis, of course. We want this 12-metre pass. It's a reasonably consistent pass for Alex, so he doesn't miss it too often, but with everything that's gone on this weekend for Alex with his ski gear, it's so important for him, but he's going okay at the moment. Oh, geez, why did I say that? I can't believe that. Head in the hands, and I think it's my fault, Pippa, because I said he was going really well, and then he just didn't really turn, got on the back of the ski, didn't turn full ball.
Yeah, I think you jinxed him. Sorry, mate.
I think all of New Zealand will be saying, what the heck did you say that for, Glenn? That's a shame, because he started pretty well here, I thought.
Yeah, looking at the instant replay.
Yeah, around 1 ball. I mean, not the greatest 1 ball ever, but he's no real issues. Stomped on the front of the ski a bit out of 2, but he's still hanging in there. Hits to 3. We're watching the replay. I hope everyone on site can see the big screen is watching as well. He is starting to get a little bit late here, but just made a complete mess of this turn. And yeah, well, look, he looks up and, well, it says it all, doesn't it? The shot of Alex there.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I don't know that he was going to run 11 today. That would have been tough because he's not had any famil, but I think, a score of sort of 4 or 5 at 11 is probably what he was looking to try and get, and unfortunately he's finished up with 4 at 12. Not a complete disaster, but your heart goes out to him because he's probably the hard luck story of this world so far with this. He came here to try and train. I think he got here Saturday morning to get some training in, and took till Tuesday night to get his skis arrived. So tough stuff for Alex King. As he heads back down to the start dock, it looks like he had a little bit of a look at 4 ball as he came past, and it's probably not his favourite slalom boy in the world right now, 4 boy here in Malaysia. But still 4 on the 12-metre line for Alex King. Still leading at the moment, the top 4 I think from Eastern Europe, but still leading with 2.5 at 11 is Alexander Somolov from the Ukraine. Okay, excitement package coming up now, folks, and I think everybody should get behind the skier on site because he is Asia's #1 slalom skier. He is, like I said, he is super strong. He's not tall at all. He's there's a guy that's going to ski in the top seed, a guy called Robert Bagosi, who is one of the favourites for the event, who leans super hard out of the buoy. I don't know if you've seen him ski
No, I
from the
haven't.
Dominican Republic. But this guy, Teo Chung, is almost Asia's answer, I reckon, to Robert Bagosi. You ever look at, unless he's changed his slalom style in the last year, since I last saw him, you ever look at how hard he comes out of the turn, boys.
Oh, this is exciting.
Big moment here for Asia, as I said. Teo Chung, Asia's #1 slalom skier. Into one he goes. Big lean. Oh, jeez, no.
Oh my gosh.
Well, he took a big lean, but it didn't work for him as he pops the handle out of one. Oh, unbelievable. Upset. He looks at his gloves. He's like, what has happened here? And I was talking up the big lean out of the buoy and how exciting it was, but I think he's overdone it here on buoy #1. He's overcooked it, folks. Watch the replay. Actually, did he even go around the buoy there? These gets.
Yeah.
Wow, we're reviewing this, are we? Oh, tell you what, I don't think he's gone around one, and that's probably why he fell off.
Yeah.
This is sad, and this is, it's like watching a car crash out there at the moment, isn't it? Asia's #1 slalom skier, and he is I think he's gonna get 0. And look, I think he was all pumped up out there, Pippa, and he's just kind of got a little bit overexcited, and he's overcooked it.
Yeah, such a shame. Team Korea will not be very happy with that, but they'll be disappointed for sure.
Oh, that's devastation. And gutting, really, for everyone, because we wanted to see him ski and just how exciting he can be.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to it. That was too short.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah, so I'm almost speechless here, which is fairly unusual for me. But Teo Chung, he was the big hitting Asian that from Korea, who was, like I say, #1 Asian slalom skier, and he has something's gone wrong here. He's kind of overcooked it or whatever, and he's slipped inside the first buoy. Big lean lock, and even if he had hung on to it, I don't think it would have mattered, because on review actually he's been given half, so we're wrong. So he did go around the buoy. That's not what I saw, but anyway, wow, that's interesting. It doesn't, who cares? 0 or half is, either way, it doesn't matter, but that's an interesting one. So we've come to the end of the series somewhat prematurely. We thought we'd be going for a little while, so we will have possibly time to run a couple of ads, I think, Tom, and we'll be back with Series 4 Slalom, because we're going to have a crew change here, and we'll have to do a couple of phantom passes. So time, folks. Obviously, we love you to watch the ads, but you've got time to nip to the bathroom or maybe put the kids to bed or whatever time it is wherever you are. So we'll be back in 5 minutes with Series 4 Slalom.
You will love Malaysia now and forever. Different races everywhere. The soul of Asia is surely here. This beautiful Malaysia. You will love the colors of Malaysia, where the sun loves to shine on sandy beaches and clear water. paradise, only a smile away. The soul of Asia, the essence of Asia, in this land where dreams come true, Malaysia.
Okay, welcome back, folks. We're about to start Series 4 of men's slalom. First competitor from Netherlands is Freak School. So looking down the list here, we've got 10 magnificent slalom skiers. We're really starting to get into the top rankings now. Here's 14.25. We'll just watch this from Freak and then I'll introduce the Series 4 slalom skiers. He seems to be running just a little down course here, but he's going to be okay, I think, in the end. Late for 6. Make sure he runs that pass. 14.25, Freak School out of Netherlands. Yeah, so Series 4, Seed 4 of men's slalom. Of course, we've got Freak School for Netherlands and Australian Patrick Crisp. Then we go to Austria to Claudio Kostenberger. Sweden, Felix Blomqvist. France was Louis Deplon Freiburg. Chile, of course, Rodrigo Miranda. We've got Great Britain's Harry Spavin, the big Kiwi Morgan Deal, Mexican Diego Font, and then Vincent Staraba from Switzerland. So we really are starting to get into some of the top slalom skiers in the world. Remember, 67 slalom skiers taking part in these worlds in the elimination round to try and make their way into the final, which will only feature 12 competitors. Pretty tough cut. Current leader is from the Ukraine, Alexander Samolov, with his 2.5 on the 11.25 meter line. Really has been a great day for the Ukrainians. They're currently holding first, second and third spot in the men's slalom elimination round. Okay, here's Freak School, and this is 13 metre. This is his best event, Young Freaks. Oh geez, bit of a break forward on 2. He's in all sorts of bother here at the moment. 13 metre pass. He seems to have made up a bit of time though as he heads across to 5. He'll get 5 and 6 boys. Good stuff in the end, but by geez, there's a little bit heart in the mouth stuff there on 2 ball.
Yeah, seems kind of relaxed. Showing a little bit of experience out there, right? How long has he been skiing?
I've seen him at a few world events at, around the trap. So he's skied in Mexico in 2015 Worlds. So it's not too hard to make the team, the Dutch team, to be honest, the Netherlands team. I think there's only Freak, he's the only skier in their team. So he's pretty much gets on the team every time. But he's a solid skier. We saw him trick yesterday. Tricking's not really his cup of tea by the look of the way he tricked yesterday, but he slaloms and jumps quite well.
Yeah, just looking at the instant replay, he didn't have a very good 1, but he made up for it on 3.
Yeah, he didn't get a great start, but he stayed in the game.
Pretty good to come back from that, I reckon. What's he
Yeah,
coming
12
back
metre
on?
line coming up from the start dock
12
end, yeah. Current lead is still 2.5 at 11.25. Here he goes. Round 1 ball. 2, breaks forward on 2. He's pushing hard now. Round 3, he's going to be real late here for 4. He's got 4. Geez, if he runs this, it's going to be some sort of a miracle. Geez, I don't think so. He slips inside 5. Well, he was pretty much late out of 1 ball, but he managed to get himself to 4, which I guess is not a bad result from where he was.
Yeah, I did not like those gates. Maybe it was that short run up that he wasn't really comfortable with.
Yeah, but still 4 on the 12 metre line. You know, it's not a complete disaster. He ties up now with Alex King.
Australia's up next. Patrick Crisp.
Yeah, Patrick Crisp. His best is, from memory, is about 4 or 5 on the 11.25 metre line. I could be wrong. I've got terrible eyesight, but I've got a feeling that could be his mother sitting down there on the point there with the camera. You can see at the on the webcast right now. Should be looking forward to watching young Patrick slalom. Yeah, Freak School's a little disappointed by the look of his body language at 4 at 12. So yeah, Patrick Crisp is our next competitor, 22 years of age.
Oh, nice to see he updated his profile just 2 weeks ago.
Good on him, mate. That's good. Because the most recently updated profiles go to the top of the list on WWS. So, you know, if you want to promote yourself, it's just keep updating it every time you get a PB or anything like that, have a birthday, whatever. So yeah, 6'3". He's a tall lad out of Highton in Victoria in Australia. I think he hails from a similar kind of neck of the woods to, there's a few skiers in the Australian team that live roughly kind of in the same place and or grew up, sorry, in the same place. One's Jacinta Carroll, the other's Nick Adams, and then Patrick Crisp are all from that southern Victorian area, I think anyway. They grew up there. I'm sure he's possibly away doing university now. Here we go, 14.25 metre line from Patrick Crisp, representing Australia. Round 2 he goes, across the 3. Round 4, wobbling around a little bit out there, but he's okay as he hits across the 6 ball and runs his opening pass on the 14.25.
Oh,
Australian
that'll be a relief.
Sorry, but the Australian team lost Archie Davis, of course, to an injury 6 weeks or so ago, so that was disappointing. I've got a feeling, I'm not 100% sure, but I've got a feeling that Patrick came in as cover, injury cover for Archie.
What happened to Archie?
Sorry?
What happened to Archie?
He had a bit of a jump crash. I don't know the exact story, but it was the last training set in Australia before heading towards Canada, or heading to Canada for the Under-21 Worlds, and decided to have one last jump set, I guess, which is the way it goes. Actually, while we're on that topic, I think I mentioned earlier, or yesterday, it looks like Freddie Kruger's not able to make his way down to these Worlds. It's late breaking news from yesterday. He's injured himself. I don't know if it's a re-injuring an old injury or whether it's a new one or not, I'm not sure, but the US team have had to replace Freddie Kruger in their team. I think Brittany Greenwood maybe's come into the team to replace Freddie, so that's bad news, I guess, for everyone really, the whole sport of water skiing, but yeah, particularly the US team. So hopefully, Freddie, if you're listening, the injury's not too bad and you're back on the water soon. But here we go now, Patrick Crisp, this is 13 metre line. From the northern end. Comes around 1 ball, hits for 2. Out of 2 ball. Cross 3, starting a little bit later. He needs a big 4 ball to make up some time. It's not a bad 4 actually. He's back on this. Round 5. He's going to be late for 6. Scrambles out the gates, but that's good though. 6 boys, that's all he needs to do. Doesn't need to do anything too exceptional.
That's where his height really helps him, eh?
Yeah, it does. It does. It's interesting with Patrick though, because slalom is not his best event. He looks like a slalom skier, but I think tricks is probably his stronger event.
Yeah.
And I think when I don't know, I'm guessing here. I don't no evidence to back this up, but I'm thinking when Archie Davis missed out or was injured and couldn't make his way here, I think that the Australian selectors probably brought Patrick in for all 3 events, but mainly looking at his tricks, I think, to get a backup trick score, because Archie Davis has had a very strong trick score for Australia. Actually, great shot just above the North Teak there. We've got Australian team coach Ryan Green, and I think that's his young son Fletcher. And Ryan would have been just a few words just to calm down Patrick. Crisp here. This is the crunch pass now, 12 metre line. This is the difference between being super happy with a set and maybe not so happy. He comes around 1. Not a good start on 1. Round 2, but he's scrambling well. He's hanging in there. Round 3, he's heading across to 4. He's got 4. This is great skiing if he can pull this off. Round 5, he's in big trouble for 6. He's late for 6. Does he get out the gates? No. Oh, jeez, it's close. Well, you can see the exit gates right there. That is so close. It's still not a bad result for Patrick Chris, but he was scrambling and pushing and prodding his way down the course and didn't quite get out those exit gates.
That would have been massive if he had cleared that. That was so close. What's his PB?
I think it's about 4 at 11, his personal best, so he wasn't too far off. You can tell he's disappointed though. I think he's obviously in training been running 12 pretty consistently just by this body language there. We're going to watch the super slow-mo here.
Yeah, I don't know about those gates.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that the best one ball in the history of slalom skiing. He was kind of running late right from the start. He starts to scramble here, and this is starting to look real, almost true Australian type slalom skiing here at the moment. I'm starting to think of the great Bruce Neville now slaloming at Moomba or something back in the day. You know, he's just scrambling his way down the course, heading across the 5 ball. Didn't mean to disrespect the great man, but and now he's really like in big trouble here. He's working hard to get to 6. He gets to 6. And somehow he's got to hang on to this and get out the gates. It just gets on the front of the ski and it's all over. Geez, that's a great replay, isn't
Yeah,
it,
it
Pippa?
was,
Great
yeah.
to see exactly what happened there. So 5.5 on the 12-metre line for Australian Patrick Chris. Puts him in about 5th spot at the moment. Long way to go in this event, though. So we go now from Australia, we're going to go to Austria. It's Claudio Kostenberger. I'm going to say pretty much all of the skiers now, as we work our way through the settings, all of the skiers from now on have PBs on 10.75 or greater. We will look that up and to see where we're at with that. So expect Claudio, I think, will start on the 14.25. He's not skiing. Claudio's not here, or he is here, but he's jumping maybe. That is his main event, jumping. But so that's breaking news. Claudio Kostenberger is not going to slalom, so we're going to Sweden, and we're going to Felix Blomqvist, who is definitely a 10.75 metre skier. Felix, he's a big, tall, strapping, strong Swede. A few Viking genetics running through this guy's veins, I'm sure. 14.25 metre. Yeah, no worries at all. Good opening pass there.
Just looking at Claudio's profile, that's a really great shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
So on his jump skis.
So I'm not sure about Claudio. I presume he's here and he's just decided to concentrate on the jump, but I'm not entirely sure of the details there, but he didn't slalom anyway. But we watch Felix now with his opening pass on the 14.25 with the replay. Just getting it done, really. I mean, I'm sure he's got better videos of footage of him himself running 14.25, but he's just making sure that he's running the pass, and that at the end of the day is what we're here for, of course, just to get a score of 6, boys. Yeah, so he's 21 years of age, of course, from Sweden. And his personal best, actually it's 5 at 11. I thought his personal best would have been on to the 10.75, but it's not. It's a 5 at 11, so.
Oh, maybe it's not updated.
Yeah. From Nora in Sweden. I don't actually know where Nora is, but if you're watching from Nora, welcome. Oh, geez.
Oh.
That is devastation. He's fallen off around 1 on the 13-metre line and just kind of got a bit deep in the water there and couldn't hang on. That's a frustrating fall. We're going to watch the replay here. It's not going to be anything that Felix is going to want on his highlights reel, though. What do you reckon, Pippa?
It looks pretty good there.
Yeah. Doesn't look quite so good
Just,
there though.
Yeah. Just even on his first pass, he was really narrow on his 135. Coming back again, just too narrow on one, I reckon.
Yeah, so that's disappointing for this competitor. Lists his Waterski idols as the great Mike Shaylander. Well, Mike Shaylander, of course, was a legend of the sport.
Yes, he was supposed to come to Malaysia. I was super excited to
Oh,
meet
he was going to
him.
come and he didn't turn up?
Yeah.
That's a shame. I don't know if he's watching on the webcast, but...
Yeah, the legends, you know, I grew up with, like watching Corey
Yeah, well, I'm
Picos
the same.
and-
I'm
yeah.
probably a little bit older than you, but he was certainly my hero. He used to get a lot of spray and there would be a lot of water breaking on one ball as well, but it was different. He put the big elbow in the water, of course. He used to turn on a 135. Anyway, we're moving our way through this running order now. We've got French superstar Louis Deplon Freiberg. He's another great overall skier. We'll just pull up his profile here. We'll get his scores, but we'll watch this 14 metre line pass first. This is a great pass, actually. One of the smoothest opening passes we've seen. 14.25. I would say the French team have been here for a wee while. They're a pretty decent program, the French. They make sure they get on site, get lots of famil. But he runs that opening pass really comfortably. Out of France, of course, but just 19 years of age. I've got a feeling, though, actually building a house on Sunset Lakes at the moment, or it might be completed. So it's been a bit of time at Jack Travis's, the Freiberg family. His personal best 3 at 10.75. So, yeah, I mean, listen to these overall scores. He's 3 at 10.75, 11,040 in tricks, and 62.8 in jumps. So, one of the world's best overall skiers.
So also in contention for overall then.
Yeah, he's definitely in the mix. Pretty strong field in overall though, so it would take a few upsets, I think, for him to get on the podium. But yeah, he'll definitely be in the mix in the men's overall, I'm sure. Here we go. This is 13 metre from the northern end. Oh, beautiful one ball. Great start. Smooth slalom skier, isn't he? And 3 goes across the 4. He's getting it done at the moment on the 13 metre line. French competitor. Almost feel like this is the first French skier we've seen at this World so far. I can't think of anyone, because they're at the top, up in the top seeds. So you get a fair way into the Worlds before you see any American, Canadian or French skiers normally.
Yep. His teammates Tanguy and Thibaut have been here for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
So they're practically local now. It's nice skiing with them.
He's slaying the slalom course out there, doing everything he needs to here on the 13 metre line.
So he'll want to run into 11, right?
Absolutely, yeah, he will be, if not running 11, I think he'll want to score a 4 or 5 at 11. Course record here is 2.5 on 10.75. It was Nick Parsons 10 years ago. That won't hold. It will. That course record will definitely go, and we'll definitely see skiers into 10.25, I'm sure, this weekend or this week. The cut for a final is normally about 3, I believe, at 10.75. I've got a feeling it might just be back a little bit from that here, though. Still, I expect, though, you're going to have to run 11 if you want to make the slalom final. And this is 12 metre line here for Louis Deplon Freiberg from France, and that's a great pass. That is easily the best 12 metre pass of these Worlds so far. So as you get to the skiers that have PBs on 10.75, then 12 becomes a pass that they are probably going to run here, if you know what I mean. Like even if the scores are back a little bit from what they can do at home, I still think if you can run 3 at 10.75, you should be able to run 12, and that's what we're seeing here now from Louis. So well, let's just see what he can do, because the lead at the moment is 2.5 on this next pass. It's 2.5 on the 11.25.
Team New Zealand up in the grandstands.
Oh, yeah, good-looking people from New Zealand, you got to say.
Yeah, really good looking.
There's the.
I married one, you know.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah.
You got good taste, Pippa. So this is 11.25. Remember, Alexander Somonov from the 16-year-old from the Ukraine currently leads with 2.5 on the 11.25 metre line. So if this young competitor from France, if Louis can get more than 2.5, you get to 3 ball or around 3 back to the wakes, then he will be our new leader in the men's slalom. What he really wants to do, though, is run this pass. If he runs this pass, he starts to get a chance at the final. He also does magnificently helps his overall score. I think it's a great start on 1. It's 11.25, folks. He breaks forward a bit on 2. He's got 3. Will he get back to the wakes? I think he does, and that's our new leader, folks. 3 on the 11.25 metre line. We'll watch the replay. My feeling is that he got a good start on 1, but unfortunately 2 boy let him down. The way he started on 1, he looked like he had a shot at running that pass.
Yeah, I thought so. Really good gates too, I thought.
Yeah, so he's through the gates. The gates look fine to me. Round 1. It's not a perfect 1, but he got out of 1 ball. Round 2, and then the big break forward here, of course, on 2, and then really that's all over now. Really, he's just scrambling to try and see if he can get a 3-boy score here. So he's around 3, and then of course he's got to get back to the wake before the next set of boat guys. He's working hard. He's got slack rope. Let's wait and see. You be the judge.
Oh, I don't think so.
Good luck judging that.
That was right over the
Oh,
yellow
wow.
buoy.
What side of the
know.
buoy is he on here? This is, mate.
I don't think so.
Oh, no, I don't know. I'm going to leave that to the judges. Wow.
Yeah,
That
it's
is so
not
close.
an easy job judging, man.
No.
I tell you.
There's nothing in that. That's just the margin. That's like a boarding house scrape of butter, really, isn't it? That's the thinnest of margins. Oh, exciting stuff, though. But here we go. Pepe Miranda, he's the world defending overall champion. This is huge in the terms of this. So he'll be looking, of course, 2-time world overall champion, Pepe Miranda. Slalom, not the strongest of his events because he's world-renowned jump skier, but he'll be looking to get a score deep down the 11.25. I'm sure that'll be his aim here to help us out his overall chances. So we're going from top skier to top skier. I haven't got the official score yet for Louis Freiberg. I don't know. I'd give him 3 because it was so close, but it's the judge's call. But yeah, Rodrigo Miranda, of course, from that great Miranda family out of Santiago in Chile. Arguably, I think, the world's greatest ski site, the Miranda ski site in Chile. It's absolutely perfect. Beautiful part of the world in South America. He was the 2013 and 2017 world overall champion. This guy is the big dog. He's got the big match experience. Somewhat of a veteran now, you'd have to say. I'm guessing he's probably...
One of the oldest.
yeah, head would be... I'm thinking he's probably around 35.
37.
I guess we could do our job here and look at his profile and give you his age. But, you know, 2-time world overall champion. That, if you just only got to say that to realise what a superstar he is.
Yeah, it's amazing he's still skiing, really.
Actually, this is not... this is Rodrigo Miranda. It's not FIFA. So I've completely cocked that call up. Apologies to the world of water skiing. He's still an excellent skier, though, and he's still from Santiago, Chile, but he's not the world overall champion, so apologies. Just forget everything I said in the last 10 minutes. I'm sure we'll see Pepe a little bit later on. Here's Rodrigo Miranda. This is 13 metre. He's the big brother, of course. And around 4 he goes. Here's for 5. It's good skiing. Plenty of experience. He's been around the traps for quite a while, and he is also A chance, I reckon, in jump. He's definitely a chance at a podium in jump, Rodrigo Miranda. He's top 5 or 6 in the world in jump at the moment. And he could end up with a slalom score, I think, here of around 4 or 5 at 11 if he skis to his absolute best. Doesn't bother putting a slalom and trick PB down. But he's got a personal best jump of 68.5 metres, so I'm thinking his slalom PB would be somewhere around 1 or 2 at 10.75 if I had to guess. He makes his way down and completes that 13 metre pass. This is interesting from Rodrigo. His water skiing goal is to win a second pro event. Does that mean that he's only ever won one professional event? I don't know about that. Surely, I would have thought he'd won more than one pro event over the years. But here he goes now. This is 12 metre line, and he's scrambling a bit now. In fact, he's pretty late. Yeah, it's a little bit of a disappointing score there for Rodrigo Miranda. 3 on the 12 metre line. He's certainly capable of a lot more.
Let's see the replay.
At the end of the day, though, I think slalom for Rodrigo is all about getting a few points for the team, the Chilean team. He's here to jump, and he's here to jump far, and that is the main aim of the game for this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he just wasn't feeling it, right?
Yeah, just didn't have his mojo this morning in
Yeah,
slalom.
no mojo. He's actually competing with his son, Martin.
He is, yeah, stepson Martin Labra, I think he is. Only a youngster. He's only 13 years of age, I'm guessing, something like that, and he can trick close to 10,000 points, so we look forward to that. So he's not the first guy to be on a team with a son or daughter.
Oh, of course.
It does happen, but it's still a rare thing. Actually, I was going to say that Dorian and Jarrett Llewellyn are, but they're not actually, because I don't think Jarrett is skiing. I don't think he's tricking.
Yeah,
at
not
this
this
tournament.
one, but they were competing together in the
They do.
last one, yeah.
They certainly did at Moomba. In fact, they both made the men's trick final at Moomba, Jarrett and Dorian Llewellyn, which is some sort of an achievement. Of course, Russell Gay and Anna Gay are both competing,
Of course, yeah.
father and daughter, in the trick event. Okay, so there we go. That was a little bit embarrassing calling Rodrigo Felipe and giving him the big talk about the overall. So I'll try and concentrate a little bit more. Apologies there.
Harry Spavin is next.
Yeah, Harry Spavin from Great Britain next. Very strong British team. Harry is believes going to school, and he might have actually just graduated, but he was going to school at Lafayette, Louisiana, from Lincolnshire in Great Britain. Skis and trains at the world famous Hazelwood's Waterski site.
Oh, nice profile shot.
Yeah, okay, he's still in Lafayette, so he must be just about in his last year of college. Harry Spavin at Lafayette. His personal best of 1 at 10.75 metre. He's 8,000 point tricker and a 61 metre jumper, so he's a solid overall skier. In a team, and a British team that is stacked with overall talent. Of course, Joel Poland and Rob Hazelwood as well, so they're a very strong British team, especially when you think of the likes of Freddie Winter and Will Asher, of course, in the slalom, men's slalom, two of the favourites for the men's slalom. So very strong British team this year at these World Champs. And no worries at all for Harry Spavin there, the 14.25.
Good opening pass. That's another famous name, Hazelwood. Is it just the one son?
The Hazelwood family is huge, but yeah, just Rob Hazelwood, of course, is here skiing at these Worlds. But because Will Asher is Rob Hazelwood's cousin as well too, so it's the Asher Hazelwood family are related. So that's a pretty amazing waterski family. And Harry Spavin has listed Tom Asher as one of his main coaches. Well, because obviously Tom Asher is also, his mother was a Hazelwood, so there we go. So it's it is arguably one of the great waterski families, of course, of the world, certainly of British water skiing, and they've got a great site there. I've been there, Hazelwoods, once I think, a couple of times maybe, and that's also where they have the is it the Stokes Pro-Am jump tournament every year, which is I'm gonna say at the moment the most lucrative jump tournament, the highest prize money of any jump tournament in the world at the moment, there at Hazelwoods. So there you go, there's a bit of background there in Lincolnshire in England, a couple of hours north of London. Harry Spavin looking a little bit average out of one ball, but he's getting back into his work here. 13 metre line. Oh geez, almost stops out of 4. He's in a little bit of trouble, is he? Nah, he's okay. Super strong on the 13 metre, but
oh my goodness.
he'll have to be careful though. He won't want to ski like that on the 12. I think now he's going to have to concentrate a little harder and just make sure of it out there on that 12 metre line.
Yeah, those kind of recoveries you can't do that on 12, right?
No, you get away with it, don't you? Up to probably up to 12 metre line. Depends who you are. You know, the really good skiers, the Freddie Winters, the Nate Smiths, the Will Ashers, those guys, they can make mistakes at 12 and still run the pass. But you know, for mere mortals,
Yes.
you know, some of us make mistakes at 52 and miss the pass. So
Yes, that's true.
it happens.
If
I
we're
can see
lucky, we might see some body slams.
Yeah, look forward to that. I can see down for New Zealand fans, we can see Big Morgan Deal on the start dock down there. Excited about that. This New Zealand's #1 male slalom skier, so he's up next. Then we'll have Diego Font out of Mexico, and then Vincent Stadelbar from Switzerland, and that actually is going to round out the slalom for the morning. We'll have a little break at the end of the slalom, of course, and then be back with some tricking. Here we go, Harry Spavin now, 12 metre line, out of one ball. Round 2. Oh, he's looking not too bad at the moment. He's into 3, starting a little bit late. He needs to work hard. He's got to 4. He's really pushing hard, but I think he's going to be okay. Is he? Oh, why did I say that? Because once again, I've given him the commentator's kiss of death. I thought out of 4 ball he looked okay to run the pass, but he hasn't. He's fallen around 5 on the 12 metre line. And another one of those scores which is solid, but not really what the skier was looking for. Let's watch him here. He came out at one boy, not too bad. Maybe carried a bit much speed into 2. That was huge, wasn't it? Right on the back of the ski, and the big old club mid turn actually as he pulled the handle in above his head almost. Out of 3, he's kind of okay. He's late, but he's still hanging in there. Across the 4 ball. Look at the strain here. He knows he's late. He's trying to get there as quick as he can. I love these slow-mo action replays.
Me too.
Round 4. Yeah, he's in all sorts of trouble, but of course I've got no idea, so I said he was going to run it at that stage, which was probably a little silly. But he came across the 5. He still had a chance here, but he still needed a big 5. And that's what happens. You need a big 5 and you throw it. And sometimes it comes off. But today, everything came off.
Yeah.
But what he needed. The ski came off, but he didn't get the turn he wanted. So 4.5 at 12. Wow.
He just looks so ugly on 2.
Yeah.
Actually, to get to where he did was kind of a feat.
Yeah, it was a good effort to get where he was from where he was out of 2 ball. Yeah, so still leading, of course. We've got the Frenchman, Louis Freiberg, at I think 3. We actually never confirmed that score. We probably should do that, Pippa.
Oh, yeah.
We think he got 3 at 11.25, but it might have been 2.5. And of course, Alexander Somonov, we know, got 2.5 at 11. So that's our top 2 skiers anyway. That was a real tight one, wasn't it? It was the judge's call for Louis Freiberg. We still, I don't think, have got to a score yet that would get you into a slalom final at the Worlds. We're still, our top scores are still around that mid 11.25 metre, and I don't think that's going to be enough to make the slalom final. So Morgan Deal out of Christchurch in New Zealand lives at the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful ski sites anyway in New Zealand, a man-made ski lake just on the northern outskirts, outside suburbs of Christchurch. So shout out to all the Northbrook water skiers, the guys down there watching Morgan slalom at the moment. 14.25, his personal best is 2 on the 10.75 metre. Huge guy, big tall guy, as he runs this 14 metre line. New Zealand's number 1 ranked slalom skier at the moment in the men's event.
That looked pretty easy.
Yeah, certainly did. And he's 30 years of age now, Morgan. I didn't realise I was that old. He's been around a wee while. He's listing his coaches as his older brother Hayden, of course, Corey Picos, and Kai Leeds. So he's listing down his coaches there. He spent a lot of time at Santa Rosa Beach. I think he was doing a bit of work there for Corey Picos over the years. Just training a little bit, probably been 3 or 4 years since he's been there, but he spent a lot of time training there, like Sir Regina Shake was, of course. He's a world women's slalom record holder, and all the other great skiers there at Santa Rosa Beach at Corey Picos's. New Zealand will be hoping, of course, that he gets deep down the 11.25 and even gives himself a crack at running 11.25, and at the very least Morgan will want to take the lead out of this series. The current lead is around that 2.5 on the 11.25 metre. Morgan we're doing a bit of training at home and in a dry suit in Christchurch, and then went and spent some time on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia, with Emma Huberman. Funny old one ball there. He's just getting it done, but it's not the greatest 13 metre that he's ever run, I don't think, Morgan Deal. But comfortable anyway to make sure he runs the pass. You just see the skiers, they're a little cautious out there, aren't they? Which I think is probably smart, Pippa. They want to make sure they get through the pass.
Yeah, too right. We don't want to fall, that's for sure. Slow mo.
What's the lead score? Is it 3 or 2.5? What did? 2.5. 2.5. Okay. That's Louis Freiberg. Okay, and I've done my job, Philippa, for once, and I've found out exactly what the lead is, which is 2.5 with Louis Freiberg. It's tied actually with Louis Freiberg and Alexander Somonov. So we have a tie for the lead at the moment in the men's slalom elimination round. Remember, 12 skiers make the final. We have had about 25 skiers, and we still have close to 40 to go. So it's a long way to go yet till we get a cut. And normally a cut for a men's slalom, I would think, would be about 3 at 10.75 at a Worlds, maybe 4. Maybe not quite so high here, we'll have to wait and see, but I still think you're going to have to run 11 metre to make the slalom final. We'll wait and see. Here's 12 metre line now for Morgan Deal. Really wants to run this pass. He's out of 2 ball. He's getting it done at the moment. Round 3. He's looking pretty good actually, I think, as he heads for 4. He's got 4, around 5. Great skiing from Morgan Deal. Sensational stuff for the big Kiwi as he runs the 12 metre line. Well done.
You could really see him gritting his teeth there, couldn't you?
Yeah, he was. And I said he was looking good, and then as I said it, I was like, what are you doing, Glenn?
Yeah,
You're going to put that? No, it was silly, really.
Thinking.
So, but still, it's a good moment for Morgan. He hasn't, I think he said to me last night in training he'd been running a lots of 12 metres, but not probably had the same amount of time on 11 metre as he would like. But I guess if you run lots of 12 metres, it makes it more likely you're going to run 12 metre here. So he's got that sort of got that pass under his belt. Now he can kind of relax and really just work on getting a good start here, a good one ball, and like I say, a score of 4 or 5 on this pass would be sensational for Morgan. And if he could somehow find a way to run the pass, then he starts to it makes it interesting, doesn't it, for him? He's got a bit of an outside chance at maybe a slalom final if he can run this pass. Like I say, New Zealand national slalom champion. He took that title in Auckland this year. Here we go, from the northern end, 11.25 metre line, Morgan Deal. Current lead is 2.5 in the World Champs. Round 1, breaks forward a little bit on 1. Round 2, he's getting late, but he's not bad as he comes into 3. Is he going to take the lead? I think he is. Does he get to 4? Come on, Morgan, he's fighting hard. 4 on the 11.25. We have a new leader. I think that's a good score from Morgan. I know he wanted to run the 11, but given the context of this World Champs and the scores we've had so far, that's solid stuff, I think, 4 on the 11.25.
I think so too. Here comes the instant replay.
What do you think about this gate number 1 boy, Philippa?
I thought he was a little bit narrow.
Okay.
For this rope leg.
Well, I got to say, a lot of skiers aren't getting to full ball with a one like that, and a lot of New Zealand skiers wouldn't get to full ball with a 1, even 2. Look how far down the course he is on 2, but he's big and strong, and he's using his reach. And it's a good effort here, I think, with the start he had. Look at his position into 3. Geez, it's warts and all, isn't it, with the slow-mo? You get to see everything.
Yes.
This is great footage. I think this is some sort of a Kiwi miracle here for Morgan, that he was able to get the full ball.
And there is a slight crosswind, so I think it's making that gate down there a little bit hard to get wide for.
Yeah, fair call, because you're right, that's the way the wind's blowing. And okay, Diego Font now, a very famous water ski family out of Mexico. Diego has a personal best score right into the 10.75 metre line. And that's great opening pass on the 14.25. Yeah, 6 boys. So let's just take the time. We'll run down the leaderboard just for a wee while here. We've got tied at the moment. Leading at the moment is Morgan Deal, who's just skied with 4 at 11.25. But the leaderboard that I'm looking at the moment will be second equal, will be Alexander Samalov and Louis Deplat Freiberg of France. They're tied with 2.5 at 11. We go then to the Ukraine, tied for 4th, I guess it is, with 1.5 on the 11.25 is Danilo Folchenko and Stefan Spak with 1.5 at 11. Then Patrick Chris with 5.5 at 12. He's sitting in what's that, 6th place. Harry Spavin and Josh Wallen are tied for 7th spot with 4.5 at 12. Alex King is in 8th with 4 at 12. Freak School is also in 9th with 4 at 12. And then we get back into 10th. We've got Rodrigo Miranda and Damir Flaratov of the Ukraine. They're tied for 11th spot. So that's our leaderboard at the moment. We're out on the water now. We're watching Mexican athlete Diego Font. This is pass number 2 from the northern end of this wonderful water ski site, 13 metre line. Yeah, he's getting it done. Another one of these skiers that's kind of skiing a little bit conservative because he wants to be careful. It's just a little bumpy out there with a little bit of a crosswind at times, and they're making sure on those first couple of passes they don't try and do too much, don't overcook it. Make sure that they get the 6 boys, and he's done that, Diego Font.
It's amazing how many scores are tied. Is that regular?
I think so. There's this many skiers, a bunch of scores tied. I mean, it's highly likely you get a runoff too, I think. Both men's and women's slalom, so a long way off that at the moment, but it's pretty hard to separate these guys.
So they do a runoff to get into the finals?
Yeah, you run off to, yep, definitely have runoffs to get into the final. And I would say it happens more often than not at a World Championships. I've got no idea. I like to kind of think ahead and make predictions and guesses, but I can see a lot of, when the top guys go, I can see a lot of 2 at 10.75 scores. And that, and there'll be plenty of skiers that beat that, but I could see possibly runoffs around that 2 at 10.75 maybe to make the final. We'll wait and see, but here we go. Not quite so sure about those shorts he's wearing. They're a little bit different, I think. But anyway, I'm not a fashion guru. This is 12 metre line now for Diego Font from Mexico. Round 4 he goes. He's looking pretty good here as he heads around 5. I know it's not super smooth and early, but he's got the pass. That's the main thing. 6 boys on the 12 metre line.
Yeah, I really like that pass. I thought he looked really good. Yeah, not sure about the shorts though.
No. Tell you what I am sure about is how good that Nautique looks. Absolutely sensational. That Ski Nautique, the 2019 model, revolutionised tournament towboats.
And the interior is quite different. It's like quite boxy now.
Yeah.
A little bit like a Lamborghini.
Oh yeah.
Kind of comes up the sides. It just rides so much better, I reckon.
We have sometimes we get not complaints but comments from skiers back home in New Zealand, particularly Mike Wortman, that he can't concentrate. I do a bit of boat judging, and I'm boat judging, and he'll complain that he can't concentrate because the boat looks so good. He's going down the slalom course and he keeps glimpsing at the Nautique and it's looking so good that it's putting him off. So
Nice. Yeah.
actually later in the week we'll get some of the Nautique guys up here. We'll have a bit of a chat to them. I think Greg Malone is heading down here. Jack Hilson's here already. He's kind of the overseer, mechanic type guy that keeps an eye and looks after the boats, that sort of thing. It's great to have Nautique supporting not only these worlds but all world championships. A major sponsor of IWWF and World Water Skiing. So here's 11.25. Remember, current leaders with New Zealand. It is Morgan Deal who has 4. Let's see if Diego Font can't get the 4 ball. He's actually looking really good here at the moment. He's looking solid coming into 3. He comes across to 4. He's got to 4. Oh, geez, does he get to 5? He doesn't. He ties up with Morgan Deal. Complete opposite of Morgan skiing. Morgan had an abysmal start at 11 but managed to get 4. Diego had a great start, I thought. I mean, we'll see the replay now and see if I'm right, but it looked okay from our view.
From this angle, he looked
and
really
ended up
good.
getting the same score. So we have a tie now for the lead. It's Mexico and New Zealand. 4 on the 11.25. One skier left, of course, in this Series 3, so one last slalomer left. And of course it is from Switzerland, it is Vincent Stuttelbar. Okay, here we go. Diego Font. Not a bad one, wasn't perfect, but he's got it done. He is a little down course on 2 bar, big 2 ball. Comes across the 3. Yeah, breaks forward. Oh, okay, so is this because the judges are reviewing this, or is it just? Is that what that means when it goes back?
Yeah.
Interesting. As he comes across to 4, yeah, okay. Well, I said he was looking okay, but obviously, when you get the slow-mo and you have a close look, he was pretty late there, right from the start, I guess, just struggling his way through a little bit. Back on the water, we're not mucking around here. We've got Vincent Stuttelbar, 16 metre line. That's interesting. I would have picked him to start at 14 all day long. He's taking it fairly conservatively here. Out of Switzerland.
I don't believe he had practice either.
Didn't he? Okay, so that's what he's doing. Wow. I don't know if he would start on 16 metre very often though.
Especially as he gets into 10, according to his PB.
Yeah, he will. He does. He's a magnificent skier. Okay, so we just had a word from the chief judge. We're going to start tricks 11:20, so 20 minutes past 11. Obviously that's Malaysian time. We will start tricks.
So in about 20 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, is that 20 minutes away? It is. So we're not going to get too much of a break here, Philippa. We must have talked to our boss about that. But why not keep going while the water's great? Here we go. There's a good shot there. Two brothers, the Font brothers, Sergio. Sorry,
Corey Picos sitting up there.
Patricio
and the-
Font. Yeah, and they're analysing. Here we go. Super slow-mo video of the skiing. Great to see. Two brothers helping each other. Either that or they're watching a good video of something on YouTube. Who knows? Might not be anything to do with the skiing. Because Patricio Font, I don't know that he obviously, unless he's in a higher seed that I realised, he's not slaloming. He might be slaloming in Series 3. We'll have to wait and see. But because Patricio, one of the favourites for the trick event, so we'll look forward to that later on. Okay, Vincent Studbar, 14.25 metre. I think he's the sole representative from Switzerland, but I'm not sure. Not sure if his brother's here or not. Okay, no, so brother Ben is here, well is coming we believe, but when we watched the teams walk in, Vincent was on his own for Switzerland. That's that was my point, but Benjamin, of course, older brother, we believe, is coming. He'll be skiing and probably in the number 1 seed or at least number 2 seed. So he runs the 14.25 metre line. He's looking very kind of, I don't know what the word is, quite tense out there almost, isn't he? Kind of really maybe nervous or concentrating hard, I don't know, making sure he gets around every buoy. He's a pretty good slalom skier. Like he's a better slalom skier than, I've got to be careful what I say here, don't want to be mean or anything, but he's a much better slalom skier than he's looking right now out there on the water, but hopefully he can get it together on this next pass, the 13 metre line. Here we go. Round 1 he goes. Not a bad start on 1. He's got 2. He's across the 3. Yep. 13 metre line goes down. Vincent Stadelbar.
It's going to be really interesting to see what he gets actually, because maybe that's his tactic, you know,
Oh yeah.
to like come back, have a different direction for 11.
Look, you fly all the way down here, you know, he's a slalom specialist, so he wants to get as much time out there on the beautiful water as he can.
And he's not the typical slalom skier shape.
No. I don't know what where they ski in Switzerland. I mean, these guys spend a lot of time in Florida anyway, and I think they do a lot of skiing in northern Italy and France as well. I'm not sure. I mean, people watching back home in Switzerland are probably thinking this guy's an idiot, and they're possibly right. But I'm not sure that there is that many ski sites, if too many at all, really, in Switzerland at the moment. So where he actually skis, I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, your New Zealand skiers skis in Switzerland, right?
Yeah, Jamie Metcalf, New Zealand's number 1 slalom skier, who we'll see in the top seed of women's slalom. She actually resides in Switzerland, but I think she does most of her training in northern Italy. Here we go. 12 metre line now. Let's see, this will be, this is the pass that he really wants here. The others were just warm-up passes. This is the one where he really has to get into his work. Round 1 he goes. He's hanging in there. Big 3 ball. Gets himself back early for 4. He's got 5. He'll get 6 here. That's good skiing in the end. Not the prettiest set. He gives the fist pump. Nice. He's happy. Not the prettiest set ever from Vincent, but at the end of the day, he's got the score. He's collecting the buoys, and good on him. A little bit, the water's a little nervous, and it's moving around just a little bit. And Vincent looks like the kind of guy to me that's never seen, a bit of movie water in his life, and he's looking down at that course, and he's like, "Oh, help me, mum," sort of thing. But at the end of the day, he's getting the score, so he's hanging in there.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky with the wind so far.
Well, exactly. It's actually not too bad out there. Put it this way, it could be worse. Could be a lot worse.
I'm really interested for this next pass.
You know, like some of the skiers that ski in, well, my own countries like New Zealand and that, sure, it's not super nice out there, but it's they're still skiing reasonably close to their best. It's just, I guess it depends where you're used to training and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because you guys don't have man-made lakes, right?
Not really, no. Here we go. This is 11.25, so we really get into the business end now. Current leaders 4. That's not a bad start, I don't think. Around 1, but not a great 2. I think that might be it. That's, in the end, not a bad score. 2 on the 11.25 for Vincent Stuttelbar. So we'll watch the replay here. Comes into 1. Well, it's a 1 ball. It's a start. It wasn't superb, but really reaching forward coming into the buoy on that 246 side. So 2 on the 11. That puts him into around that 5th spot mark after the slalom this morning.
Yeah, he won't be happy with that.
No, he won't be super happy, but tell you what, New Zealand's fairly happy because we've got the co-lead. So that's it for slalom. At the moment, after the first 3 series, remember there's 6 seedings, so we're only halfway through men's slalom elimination, and the second lot will happen later in the week. The top seeds will go, but at the moment, New Zealand and Mexico are on the top of the slalom world with 4 at 11, so congratulations. We're back in 15 minutes, folks, with the tricks. So I think we'll probably, we'll probably run a few ads. You guys can relax. If you've got a 15-minute job to do, you can run off and do it. And we'll be back with the women's tricks in 15 minutes.
Putrajaya, Malaysia this August to watch the world's best water skiers in action. Don't miss it.
Watch the best water skiers in the world compete at the 2019 World Waterski Championships in Putrajaya, Malaysia.
is beautiful.